to the clerk's office. The bill allows for a similar action in Kankakee County. A Western Illinois man is dead after a fall from Mount Rushmore. Authorities in South Dakota say hikers found 58-year-old Anthony Rashid's body at the base of a cliff not far from the Mount Rushmore Monument on Friday. Rashid is from Kewaunee. Jeff Mathis's 2-run double capped a 5-run first inning. Diamondbacks crushed the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley. Cubs starting and losing pitcher Luke Farrell says the D-backs jumped out early on his slider.
I just left some sliders up in the zone that they got to. Fastball command was okay, but the damage they really did was on the slider.
Jose Abreu 2 for 4 with a home run, 2 RBI, 2 runs scored, helping the White Sox over the Angels 5-3 in Anaheim. Another solid outing for Lucas Giolito in the win. Bears training camp, by the way, if you're planning to go down to Bourbonnais, closed to the public today and tomorrow. The next open practice comes your way Thursday. The News is a service of Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. You can help put an end to Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, joining the Team Challenge. It's the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation's endurance training program. Run, walk, cycle, hike, or complete a triathlon and get closer to the ultimate finish line. Cures. Visit ccteamchallenge.org to learn more. 5:08, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
5:11. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Things look pretty good on the expressways and tollways right now. Most of the overnight construction is gone. We're not seeing any delays at the moment. There is road work on the outbound Ryan until 6 a.m. At 87th, the entrance ramp is closed, and you've got 3 right lanes closed from 87th to the split, and that is for less than an hour now. There is a closure downtown for Lollapalooza setup. Balboa's been blocked off from Columbus Lakeshore Drive. Lollapalooza starts August 2nd. There will be more closures in the coming days. Also, We'll have morning baseball traffic in the Chicago area this morning. The Windy City Thunderbolts have a 10:35 start in Crestwood. And the Chicago Dogs play in Rosemount. They'll start at 11:35 this morning. Traffic service of unbound.org. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at unbound.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Very latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sunshine and patchy clouds for the day, high 87, clear night, low 67. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 87, and a partly cloudy night with a low 69. Partly sunny Thursday with a shower in the area with a high around 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
67 at O'Hare, 70 along the lakefront, 61 this morning in Aurora. And your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, I
What?
don't know how to break this to you.
Should I sit down?
It looks like those crazy kids, Stormy and Glendon.
Oh.
They're not going to go the distance.
You know, I was gonna. They had a baby together.
Well, sure.
They're both
they
porn
were
stars.
Norman Rockwell. I mean, this was Americana, this wonderful family.
Why did it end, Dan? Because you hand out relationship advice.
Stormy Daniels and Glendon Crane.
Have you seen Glendon Crane, by the way?
Yeah, all Boy Next Door.
You sure?
Filed Glendon Crane filed the petition for divorce last week in district court in Kaufman County, just southeast of Dallas.
Was he jealous of her rising fame?
He alleges, and
oh no, was he beaten?
I can't believe he alleges adultery as grounds for the divorce, seeking sole custody of the couple's 7-year-old daughter, as well as child support from Stormy.
Oh, I see what's going on here.
I'll tell you, boy, I mean, if you can't count on a prostitute to be faithful, what is this world coming to?
Well, she's not she's a porn
Does
star.
she have sex for money?
Well, she performs and shows her body off and wears G-strings as topless for money. That's what she's doing right now.
Does she have sex for money?
She had sex and received cash afterward.
What does a
from
prostitute
President
do?
Trump. Well, it's the oldest profession. It's when you sell your body for sex.
I'll take that as a stipulation to my characterization of her as a prostitute. Thank you. Your witness is excused. Yeah.
So she was. I wonder who her latest fling is.
Well,
I mean, if he accuses her of, cheating on him.
Avenatti, Stormy's attorney.
Oh God.
Also a prostitute.
Hey-o.
My client, Stormy Daniels, and her husband Glenn, have decided to end their marriage.
Wait, can we get some sappy, cheesy music?
Stormy's daughter remains her number one priority. She kindly asked for privacy for the sake of the family. For goodness sakes.
No, she wants privacy. After she's on stage showing out the.
If there's one thing Stormy Daniels is a private person. She is a private person. And please, let's give the Daniels family some space here.
Apparently
in these trying times.
The two met on set when they were making an adult film together and liked what they saw and stuck together and had a baby.
No, I've seen that film. It's called True Romance, and Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette did it much better. So, yeah.
So,
hey, guys.
Hey, you know why this came to light? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I mean,
You are getting very sappy over there.
I just wanted to note that, given a reasonable period of grieving,
Well,
she will be available.
reporters found out about this because remember when she was arrested in Ohio? She had marked off that not married on her arrest report. And that's when reporters went, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought you were married. And then her attorney denied it, but then now he's coming clean and
Well,
saying.
this was filed 6 days ago.
Oh, right.
So-
okay. But
so
I'm just
that
saying.
just comes
that
after
was,
her arrest.
Right. But on her arrest, she checked off that she was not married. So that's what tipped the media off.
Well, I think what tipped the media off is her husband filing this petition in court. That's what I think tipped the media off. But yeah, I mean, Stephanie.
They've appeared in several pornographic films together. He went by the name Brendan Miller. Now, if that's going to be, if you're a man and you have a porn name, how boring. Hi, starring Brendan Miller. Oh, yeah.
The guys aren't the stars of those shows, from what I understand. Boy, I tell you, if that doesn't keep you together, I just don't know anymore. This mad world. Greg and Schaumburg.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Amy?
Hi.
I
How
have
are
an
you, Greg?
assignment for you.
Uh-oh.
You know, you've always, on your side of the desk over there, wondered why Dan is not married.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine Dan's proposal to a woman and the language that he would use and the contingencies that would be built into it?
How would that go,
So
Greg?
I think
How would that go? Give me
that would go something like this. Dear, I have a value proposition for you that I am sure you're going to find irresistible. It is the product of my dog Hayek and myself putting our brains together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dear sounds a little informal. I would refer to my betrothed by her Christian name.
Okay, this sounds so fun.
Yeah. All right, thanks for the call, Greg.
Well, I think Amy will clean that up for you, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
like jazz it up a little?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the one profession, though, that would prohibit you from dating someone?
There's not one. But this would be, I think,
think
near the top of the list.
It'd have to be at the top of the list.
Yeah, prostitute.
Well,
no.
or porn star, or stripper at nightclubs.
Well, I understand you use euphemisms.
She does all three. Well,
yeah. Yeah, I
And this is why.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
Right, because he doesn't date prostitutes. How
or
ridiculous
porn
of me.
stars or strippers.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
The problem is Crane and Stormy, they wore about the same amount of makeup on their faces. That's a problem, too. Maybe she was using too much of his eyeshadow. I don't know.
It worked for Liza Minnelli and that creepy beard that
ew.
she married.
Remember that guy?
David Guest?
Yes. Good memory. Today, warm, sunshine, patchy clouds, cooler near the lake, a high of 87 degrees. Tonight, clear and a low of 67. And for Wednesday, mostly sunny and warm, a high again of 87. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, where he's always keeping it clean. What's your porn name, Jim Telemonte?
Boy, caught me off guard with that one, Amy. I don't know. Thankfully, I've never had one. But good morning, and good morning, Dan. Thankfully, we're off to a quiet start on the roads as well. No storms brewing right now on the Rhine. Just a little heavy inbound as usual from Roosevelt into the Burns Circle. So it's 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15, but there is road work from 87th split in 3 right lanes this morning. So be a little careful in that area. Inbound Bishop Ford, just a little bit tight approaching the Rhine. The other expressways and tollways look great right now. No problems. Delays to report in northwest Indiana. Downtown Chicago, Balboa is blocked off from Columbus to Lakeshore Drive for Lollapalooza setup. Lollapalooza starts August 2nd. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics airs Sundays at 3 p.m., as well as our Heart of the Matter series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day and their impacts on family and household budgets. Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments this week, asking Chicagoans about the Janus decision and public sector unionization. and my 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries as well. Then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Free property tax report on your home, updated property tax info for 2018, as well as updated home sales info in your neighborhood and community for 2017. So all the property tax and home sales info, defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Napa know-how. If you know how to pick something up and put it in a bucket, you know how to save 20%. This week only, buy a Napa bucket for $2.99. Fill it to the top, and boom, you're a savings genius. So hurry in and save, because the Napa 20% off deal ends soon. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, exclusions apply. Minimum 3 items. Offer available July 23rd through July 31st.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Todd, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Maybe I should switch to Liberty Mutual.
Visit us online to... Hey, stop echoing.
Sorry.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
Formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways.
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Hey, we know replacing your roof is a big deal and a big decision. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. We would love to do your roof. Why choose Crumweedy to do your roof or roof repairs?
It's all about installation. Our guys are pros. When we install your roof, you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that's up to manufacturer specifications. So your warranty is intact. You'll be happy.
Cost. We give you a good, better, best option. You choose. No high pressure.
We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you.
We do business the right way. We have a special offer that includes free gutters with a new roof. Ask about it. When your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
So that, excuse me, that shooting in Toronto yesterday, 2 women were murdered.
A 10-year-old girl and an 18-year-old.
They released the name of the suspect in the case late yesterday. And it was interesting. And my friend up there, Jerry Agar, who's a radio talk guy in Toronto, he was keeping me abreast of this too. The CBC held back the name of the suspect.
Why?
And then they released the name. When they released the name, they had already coordinated with the family a statement on behalf of the suspect, the family of this Pakistani Canadian, saying, "We're at a terrible loss for words, but we must speak out to express our deepest condolences to the families who are now suffering on account of our son's horrific actions. We are utterly devastated by the incomprehensible news our son was responsible for the senseless violence and the loss of life that took place." They also
said that he suffered from depression, lifelong depression, and mental health
and it had nothing to do with Islam. That was the key.
Right.
Coordinated statement between law enforcement and the family of the shooter.
Well, what were they afraid of?
Well, right.
Because that's what you do when you're fearful.
Also, several police professionals told my friend Jerry Agar that the shooter handled the gun in a way that showed experience, if not training.
Oh, yeah. I saw some of the surveillance video. He clearly knew what he was doing. Everybody described him as he was very calm, and then all of a sudden he'd shoot, reload while he's walking, calm, shoot. I mean, it was crazy.
He also was known to police, reportedly.
Oh.
So he's known to police. He had training, experience, if not training, in guns. The story is coordinated between the family of the shooter and police and the media, by extension, to make sure that they get out that he was depressed and suffering from quote-unquote mental illness, and it had nothing to do with
terrorist
being an Islamist. Is that curious at all to you?
He was struggling with psychosis and depression his entire life, they said.
Mm-hmm.
While we did our best to seek help for him throughout his life of struggle and pain, we could never imagine that this would be happening.
Yeah, I think I'd like some follow-up questions.
Well,
to
people in Toronto are wondering if their
individuals.
city is unraveling. What's going on? The mayor came out yesterday and said, it's all, blame the guns, saying too many young kids have access to handguns and pistols.
Yeah.
Blame the guns instead of the shooter.
Mm-hmm. Who was just suffering from mental illness.
And psychosis.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Psychosis, throw that one in there.
Oh, related story, we got another shutdown today. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, where?
Lakeshore Drive shut down, March to Wrigley Field.
Oh, excuse me. Now it's getting a little too close.
Right, yeah.
Well, we're going to the beach today.
You can, NIMBY, you can shut down somebody else's neighborhood, not mine. Yeah, coalition, community groups, concerned citizens shut down Lakeshore Drive and March to Wrigley Field.
When?
That's Thursday, August 2nd. There's a press conference today about it. Thursday, August 2nd. I assume there'll be a Cubs game Thursday, August 2nd. Otherwise,
sure.
why would they march to Wrigley Field?
Is it a night game?
Well,
that's
no,
even worse.
No, I think it's a day game, right? Yeah.
No, it's a night game.
Oh,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock game, says Mike Scott.
Oh, great.
Through
So they're not
semaphore.
only inconveniencing Cub fans, but actual, Chicagoans who are driving home from work after a hard day's work.
Oh, yeah.
They want to get home to their families.
Of course. All those city and county workers that live on the north side after a hard day's work, they want to go to their reserved seats at Wrigley
People that
Field.
live downtown or work downtown, a lot of them live in suburban Lakeview.
Oh, no.
So they need to get home. Suburban Lincoln Park.
Yeah, suburban Lakeview. Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, I'll tell
Or
you.
a suburb of the city.
This is a bridge too far. I mean, you start interfering with the Cubs, now you're really they're in danger of doing something disruptive to some place that people care about. And that's knock that off.
Is that Father Flagler? Because I'll call him right now.
No, it's our friend Greg Livingston from Coalition for New Chicago.
Oh, come on, Greg.
We've had him on the show before.
I know. He's better than that. That's just stupid. It's a parking lot anyway. At that time, anyone ever driven it? It's the worst. It's where you take side streets. But, okay, that'll be interesting. I wonder if they'll give them a lane, or maybe they can give them the flowered median that they can walk in.
Well, just remember, too, if they do go into the stadium, if any of them, any of the individuals, the protesters, are chewing tobacco, they will get fined by Ed Burke, just like Javi Baez.
$250.
So,
first offense. Second time, $500.
No sympathy on the chewing tobacco thing. All right.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Obama Six. They're about to have their security clearances removed by President Trump at 5:38.
And later, a longtime alderman from the Southwest Side is calling it quits. We'll tell you why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
67 degrees. U.S. officials think Russian hackers apparently breached some utility company networks. Wall Street Journal reporting this morning that Russian state-sponsored hackers known as Dragonfly accessed control rooms of U.S. electric suppliers. The hacking effort used spear phishing emails to steal passwords from workers at utility suppliers. Wildfires raging through seaside resorts near the Greek capital, torching homes, cars, and forests. The death toll this morning is at 50. That death toll going up after 26 bodies were found, most family members huddled together. 715 alone were evacuated from beaches by the Greek Navy. Turkey's offered to send firefighting aircraft to neighboring Greece. And the Spanish government says it's sending planes to help fire the twin forest fires as well. Prominent group that monitors North Korea publishing satellite images that suggest the North is dismantling a major satellite launch site. Analysts call it a very important first step toward fulfilling a commitment North Korean leader Kim Jong-un made during his summit with President Trump last month. Extreme weather pushing across a wide swath of the U.S., heavy rain and the threat of flooding soaking the east. Meantime, in the southwest, including Southern California and Arizona, broiling heat. Colorado Springs had to deal with its own share of flooding yesterday.
It's been a long time since we've been hit with this much water in such a short period of time, and that became a real concern for us.
Streets became rivers, according to police officer David Husted. Biggest issue is folks trying to drive through the high water and heavy hail. The suspect in an apparent unprovoked stabbing murder at a BART station in Oakland, California, is in custody. Bay Area Rapid Transit Police arrested John Crowell at a station Monday evening. One of the victims, 18-year-old Nia Wilson, died of her injuries, while her sister is in critical condition at a hospital in the Bay Area. Authorities are investigating after a 15-year-old boy was stabbed and a woman shot during a fight in Chicago's North Lawndale neighborhood. A woman reported missing from a northwest Indiana beach late Monday. Gary police are searching for a woman who possibly drowned at Marquette Beach. It's a bombshell lawsuit filed by a former investigator with the Independent Police Review Authority, suing the city of Chicago. Kelvin Lett claims he was fired for refusing to lie and make police-involved shootings seem unjustified. Chicago sports. Diamondbacks cruise past the Cubs 7-1. Jose Abreu 2 for 4 with a home run. The White Sox went past the Angels 5-3 in Anaheim. The news, a service of Unbound.org. In places around the world, there are elders who long for community and connection and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet at unbound.org. 534. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a rocky future for the Dems.
The way the Democrats are behaving right now, they're going to drive people right into the arms of the Republican Party, and the Democrats are not going to take the House. I mean, really, come on. Can we be real? Do today's Democrats want to be socialists across the board? Well, if they do, okay. There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Every business owner knows that digital marketing is crucial to your success. Getting the most from your online marketing budget and quantifying and analyzing those results are issues nearly all companies face. Dave Rohr, Northside Metrics founder and co-host of the Business of Digital podcast, not only shares your values, but also knows how to answer those tricky digital marketing questions. Whether you need a full-service digital agency or you want support for your in-house team, Dave and the Northside Metrics team are your digital marketing experts. Northside Metrics can help your business with PPC, SEO, SMO, or any of the other acronyms you hear about. They can also help you understand your analytics and craft a plan of action based on the data, not just whims. Northside Metrics creates custom plans that help you reach your business goals and still fit your budget. And for the record, nothing is outsourced or offshored. Ready to learn more? Call Dave Rohr, toll free at 844-406-6784 or visit northsidemetrics.com. northsidemetrics.com.
536. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. 390. The Elgin O'Hare westbound at Plum Grove got a crash in the left lane. Not seeing any delays in that area, eastbound or westbound. At Naperville, Book Road has been closed off south of 95th between Wagner and Conan Doyle Road. This is for sewer work scheduled till 2 this afternoon. No delays on the Edens or the Kennedy. The Eisenhower looking good, getting a little bit of congestion now, though, east of 25th. Stevenson inbound has about a 2-minute delay, Cicero to Kedzie. On Orion, a 5-minute delay from the Stevenson into the Circle. Bishop Ford, a 4-minute delay from 103rd to the Merge. Northbound Tri-State, it's slow from the Grand Avenue curve to the O'Hare Oasis with ongoing construction. Traffic Service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving, drugged driving, and underage drinking. No charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Seasonably warm, sunshine, patchy clouds. We'll top out near 87 today. Clear and 67 overnight, 87 tomorrow, 69 tomorrow night, and a high near 80 on Thursday. Currently, we have 67 at O'Hare. Next news update coming your way at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. I'll feel better if I know Trump is paying attention to Bolton, Pompeo, and Mattis. We'll talk about that when freedom returns at 5.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders suggested yesterday that the White House is considering yanking the security clearances from the Obama 6. That would be CIA Director John Brennan, James Comey, DNI James Clapper, clap on, clap off James Clapper, CIA Director Michael Hayden, National Security Advisor Susan Rice, and former Deputy FBI Director Andy McCabe, because they have politicized and or monetized their public service.
They've politicized and in some cases monetized their public service and security clearances.
I mean, Susan Rice was just on with George Stephanopoulos on Sunday. And Brennan, he's touring the country. I mean, they're like on tour and they get paid to speak about matters of security, I think. So why not yank their clearance? Clarence?
Well, yeah, also there's the issue of their actual performance while in these positions and their performance related to ongoing investigations. Brennan taking credit for essentially launching the Russian collusion investigation. Brennan and Clapper both caught lying, in Brennan's case, repeatedly before Congress. And Brennan's time before Congress may not be over. The same goes for some of the others who haven't already appeared, says Bob Goodlatte, House Judiciary Chairman.
We have lots of questions for John Brennan, and he will definitely be sought by the committees for an interview. This is an extremely disturbing thing to see both he and James Comey, supposedly impartial government officials carrying out their jobs in very important areas in intelligence gathering and law enforcement, express the kind of extreme bias that they've shown now, which I think reflects quite accurately on what they were doing back in 2016.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is Trump right to move in the direction of removing the security clearances for these individuals?
Mr. Mean, I call him John Brennan. I mean, he has been so upset about President Trump's meeting with Putin.
I equate it to the betrayal of one's nation, basically aiding and abetting, giving comfort to an enemy.
And I don't know if he's getting paid for these interviews, but limos pick them up, or nice town cars pick them up at their homes, take them, they do their makeup, they do, So I don't know how they're monetizing on it exactly, but
they're paid.
Well,
they're hawking books and they're paid contributors to cable news stations. I mean, that's
so
how.
They're making money.
And speeches and whatnot.
And they said, people keep their clearances so they can talk about information with their successors. But we want to separate ourselves from these people. Don't you? I mean, don't you think it's time?
Yeah, I think their security clearances should absolutely be removed. Not just because they're politicizing and monetizing these issues, which they have some knowledge of from their time in government, but also because of what they did or what they may have done during their time in government, which is still very much under consideration, as Bob Goodlatte sort of intimated.
And they're undermining
What
the
do we know-
present
what do-
current Trump administration. That's what they're doing.
Well, what do we know? What do we know about unmasking? Have we ever gotten the definitive word on unmasking? You throw Samantha Power into the mix too, from the Obama administration. The unmasking of American citizens, like Flynn. Remember, that's the one crime we know was committed in this, kind of whole orbit of actual Trump, the Trump-Russian collusion orbit. I mean, yeah, you've got Manafort and you've got some of these others on unrelated crimes to the Trump campaign. But the one crime we know that was committed was the unmasking of Michael Flynn. Have we gotten any reckoning? Have we gotten any reckoning from the Obama administration on that?
No.
Yeah, Susan Rice.
Was she involved in that?
Maybe. We know she was involved in unmasking. Now she's sort of glossed over that. She's responded to it, talking in vague generalities, as they're wont to do. Why should they have security clearances? They shouldn't have security clearances for this entire time. This is absurd. As you said, they're actively working to undermine the administration. John Brennan is busy putting together a firing squad. Why should he have access to any secret information in the Trump administration?
Well, there's a level of trust too that I have zero for all of these people named. But I thought that Comey and McCabe, since they were fired, they don't have security clearance anymore.
Well, they obviously have some level of it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the list. James Clapper responding to the prospect of his security clearance being removed.
I think it's, off the top of my head, it's kind of a sad commentary where, for political reasons, this is a kind of a petty way of retribution, I suppose, for speaking out against the president, which I think are, on the part of all of us, are born out of genuine concerns about President Trump.
Yeah, well,
sad.
you can have genuine.
You're done.
You can have genuine concerns, and then there's doing what Brennan in particular. But even I go back again. Michael Hayden tweeting out a picture of the Auschwitz death camp to compare it to Trump's separation of families at the border, which is an extension of the policy that the president he served followed as well. I mean,
I don't want him having security clearance.
I think Trump is absolutely right. I think it's frankly long overdue.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, R. Kelly. But first, here's your forecast. Warm today, sunshine, some high clouds, a high of 87 degrees, cooler near the lake. A clear tonight, low of 67. And for tomorrow, more of the same, a high in the mid to upper 80s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Northbound Tri-State getting a little heavier now, where it usually does. First from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower, and then from the Grand Avenue curve to Irving Park, where that long-term construction has caused additional delays lately. Again, it's getting heavier now in that area. The other tollways look pretty good, although on 390 westbound at Plum Grove, there was a crash in the left lane. Traffic still light in that area. Kennedy inbound, about a 2-minute delay now. Cumberland to Canfield. The outbound side is still fine. The Eden's clear. On Eisenhower, heavy Wolf to 25th, and Ogden into the Circle. 32 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Overnight work should be wrapping up shortly at 87th. 3 right lanes are closed. Bishop Ford, 6-minute delay, 111th to the merge. I-57 still good. Northwest Indiana's just fine. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
The Daily Herald Business Ledger C-Suite Awards are this Thursday, July 26th, honoring the leadership, business, and civic contributors, business leaders that have made it to their organizations and to the suburban Chicago community. Register to attend the Daily Herald Business Ledger C-Suite Awards ceremony at the Northern Illinois University Naperville campus, and find out all the details at dhbusinessledger.com. That's dhbusinessledger.com.
May I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if you want to whiten your teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free by calling 1-800-204-1201. That's 1-800-204-1201. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-204-1201. That's 1-800-204-1201.
Remember this promise from Barack Obama?
And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums.
The truth is, premiums in the individual under 65 market have more than doubled since the ACA exchanges opened in 2014, especially for the millions of Americans who do not qualify for subsidies. If you're healthy and do not need coverage for pre-existing conditions, premiums are much lower in the non-ACA health insurance market. These policies will keep you consistently insured all year long, and they include a nationwide PPO. And there's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com. That's healthinsurancementors.com. Or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Finding affordable education for your young ones that teaches values and delivers a great education is a challenge these days, especially for the pre-K through 8th grade formative years. Private grade school can be expensive, but you want your child to have a strong foundation and good start with his or her education. St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard could be what you've been searching for, and more affordable than you imagined. They feature a rigorous faith-based curriculum combined with an outstanding variety of extracurricular activities that prepare children for personal and spiritual growth and academic success. They have sports for 5th to 8th grades, clubs like German and Spanish, band, drama, National Junior Honor Society, and Student Council. St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard prepares your child for accelerated programs in the best private high schools. Find out more about the long tradition of excellence in Christian education St. John's Lutheran School has at stjohnslombard.com. Request a tour, and for a limited time, get half off registration when you enroll your child. Go to stjohnslombard.com today.
If you feel like you could get more use out of your smartphone and tablet, don't feel alone. It's hard to keep up with ever-changing technology. Now there's an easy way for anyone to master the latest smartphone and tablet. User manuals and how-to guides made for beginners from beginnermanuals.com. Guidebooks that are made for the beginner and approved and recommended by over 100 senior associations in the United States. They teach all the basics with high-quality illustrations and step-by-step instructions for all the fundamental and important tasks on your smartphone or tablet. These easy-to-understand guides are just 100 pages long. In just one sitting, you'll be able to use your device completely, confidently, and easily. BeginnerManuals.com has manuals for both Apple and Android devices, including the iPhone, iPad, and Galaxy. Go to BeginnerManuals.com and for a limited time, get 20% off and free shipping. That's BeginnerManuals.com for 20% off and free shipping.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I'm still working on trying to get through In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, and now I've got this song.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, you never, Iron Butterfly? You've never heard that song? Never heard of it?
Iron Butterfly?
Okay. R. Kelly.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't have time to listen to music.
Right,
okay.
for the last 35 years.
Exactly.
Apparently, yeah.
Well, I'm consistent with myself. Thank you.
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, I think that...
In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida.
That was about 17 minutes. I think R. Kelly dropped a 19-minute song yesterday. I Admit, addressing all of the accusations assembled against him from
having sex slaves to being a pedophile.
Oh, sweet.
Here's R. Kelly.
I admit I done made some mistakes, and I have some imperfect ways. I admit I helped so many people, and them same damn people turn fake. I admit it was so hard to focus. I didn't go to classes. I admit that I dropped out of school. I admit that I wasn't that cool. I admit I just feel like retiring. Admit I just don't feel like trying. But all my real lookings around me keep telling me, Kels, that you gotta keep climbing. I admit it, I did. I done fuck with a couple of fans. I admit I'm a gift and a curse. I admit that I don't go to church. I admit it, I admit it. I admit it, I did it. I admit it, I did. I admit it, I did.
Well, worst confessional ever. Not exactly I believe I can fly, you know what I mean?
It's he didn't get to the good stuff. But what about the sex slaves and...
He said he's not perfect.
Oh, excuse
I
me,
mean,
Dad.
what more do you want him to say?
What about the P-tape? Did he...
He said,
has that already been litigated?
What's the definition of a call? What's the definition of a sex slave? Go to the dictionary, look it up, let me know. I'll be here waiting.
Oh, so give us a homework assignment.
I never said I was perfect. Say I'm abusing these women. That's some absurd blank. They brainwashed, really, kidnapped, really, can't eat, really, real talk. Sounds silly.
Oh, well, then let them go home.
Sure. He also said he was molested by a family member from the ages of 7 to 14.
Oh, I'm sure that he was. That's because molesters know how to molest. That's why they molest other children.
He did not comment on this song.
Set your body is a porta potty.
That's the best line. He, like Steve Harvey, did not comment on Dave Chappelle.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Is your property just not selling fast enough for what it should? Are new customers not finding your business? It's not the market, it's your marketing. 3D Roomscapes can change all that. Showcasing your home or showing your business with still photographs is outdated, folks, and doesn't give a real feel for the space. With 3D Roomscapes, three-dimensional virtual tours can navigate a property online as if you're there in person without leaving your home. Just think of the convenience, being able to explore properties online or inviting people into your business, allowing them to imagine what it looks like to do business with you. 3D Roomscapes makes it happen. From aerial interactive shots with a drone to a fully mapped 3D tour, it's surprisingly affordable. Go to the number 3droomscapes.com today for a free consultation. At 3droomscapes.com, you can browse their 3D virtual tours. And for a limited time, they'll create a free custom YouTube video with purchase of service. 3droomscapes.com. That's 3droomscapes.com.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
I spoke to one person and, I asked him a simple question is, what do you want to do with your retirement? And he said, I want to protect it. Because if it does go down and not come back, do you have enough time in the market to recover those losses?
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-566-7906 now for your free reputation analysis. Our dedicated experts and patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-566-7906 to learn more or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Summer is customer appreciation time at Joe Cotton Ford. That means you'll find the lowest prices of the year on all our great new and certified pre-owned Ford models. Like these Ford authorized prices. New 2018 F-150s have 0% for 60 months plus cash rebates. New 2018 Explorers have 0% for 72 months plus $1,000 cash rebate. $5,000 off new 2018 Focus and 0% for 72 months plus $1,000 cash rebate on new 2018 Escapes. We've been serving friends and families like you in Western Chicagoland for 44 years. And for the 5th year running, we're again your favorite Ford dealer, Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream. Come in and you'll see why we're Chicagoland's best Ford buying experience. And don't forget all the Joe Cotton Ford exclusives that make a Ford from Joe Cotton Ford a better value. It's our promise to you. We'll treat you great and save you money. From 3 generations of our family to yours, you have our word on it. At Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. Through July 31st, all prices plus tax, title, license, and dock fee. See dealer for details.
5:57. Check on the morning roads. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic's heavy early on the Bishop Ford Freeway with delays from 111th to the Ryan. It's 34 minutes, 80-94 to the Merge. Outbound 5 to 15. I-57 is 17 minutes from I-80 to the Ryan. Ryan is 23 minutes from 95th to downtown. Eden's cleared. Kennedy, 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound still fine. Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State heavy. Reagan Tollway most of the way to Irving Park. Traffic service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty. Becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. It's compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A seasonably warm day today with sunshine and patchy clouds. High getting up to 87. Clear night tonight with a low 67. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm, high again 87. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
67 at O'Hare, 70 along the lakefront. The news, a service of Unbound.org. More peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future and have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at Unbound.org. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following this morning. Authorities are investigating after a 15-year-old boy was stabbed and a woman shot during a fight in Chicago's North Lawndale neighborhood. A woman reported missing from a northwest Indiana beach late Monday. Gary Police and the Indiana Department of Natural Resources are looking into a possible drowning at Marquette Beach. A group of community activists in Chicago are planning to march on Lakeshore Drive to Wrigley Field August 2nd. The anti-violence march is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. on that date. Longtime Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz retiring from the city council next year. Chicago sports found the Diamondbacks over the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley Field, and the White Sox romp past the Angels 5-3 in Anaheim. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Is North Korea following through? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The day after President Trump tweeted he's very happy there have been no rockets or nuclear tests for 9 months, there are reports of more North Korean efforts to perhaps denuclearize. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, satellite imagery appears to show North Korea is making good on promises made at the Singapore summit. According to an analysis of the images by 38 North website, the regime has been dismantling its main missile engine test site over recent days. Some facilities have been razed or taken apart. The facilities included a rocket engine test stand, which is used to develop liquid fuel engines for ballistic missiles. Another facility was identified as a space launch vehicle and rail-mounted processing building. Dave?
Rachel, the White House is considering revoking security clearances from 6 ex-national security officials who've been critical of the president, including John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, and Michael Hayden. Fox's Griff Jenkins has some reaction.
Brennan maintains that he hasn't made a penny off of his clearance, and Comey and McCabe reportedly no longer have their clearances. General Hayden tweeted, "I don't go back for classified briefings, won't have any effect on what I say or write." And Clapper said this in a phone interview last night.
I think this is just a very, very petty thing to do.
Death and destruction in Greece, where 2 wildfires are burning near the coast outside Athens.
Thankfully, the sea was there, and we went into the sea.
because the flames were chasing us all the way to the water. It burned our backs and we dove into the water.
He survived, but at least 49 others were killed. First, Ritz crackers were recalled. Now goldfish over fears of salmonella contamination. Pepperidge Farm says 4 types are being pulled. Flavor blasted extra cheddar goldfish, sour cream and onion, whole grain extra cheddar and pretzel. No one has been reported sick so far. Fox News, fair and balanced.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. If the information in the FBI's Carter Page warrant constitute a probable cause for wiretapping an American political campaign, then the process and the officials involved in it carried out one of the most significant known violations of American civil liberties in recent history. That's Mark Penn, former Hillary Clinton campaign advisor and pollster, writing in The Hill on the Carter Page FISA warrant after the release of heavily redacted, but nevertheless some 400 pages of documents related to that FISA application to surveil Carter Page. Penn goes on to say, the evidence here is that there was no real evidence. You had the dossier, the Steele dossier, financed by the Democrats, unverified, so says the likes of Lindsey Graham over the weekend, and a Yahoo story with used as corroborating information. And Penn writes, it's a distortion to suggest, as some Democrat congressmen have maintained, that the Yahoo story was not used in a substantive way. It sure was. Of course, and so was the dossier. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the application. If they weren't needed, why include them in the application? And Andy McCarthy, our friend over at National Review, has a bit of a mea culpa on the topic. And so we're pleased to be joined by former Chief U.S. Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan and contributing editor of National Review, Andy McCarthy. Andy, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, how are you?
Good. You apparently were a bit taken aback by the documents released over the weekend because you've penned this interesting piece at National Review about the confirmation now that the FBI relied on that Steele dossier to obtain the warrant, something you were reticent to conclude up until this weekend.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. What I say is that I, at the very beginning, before we knew anything, told people that it would be silly to think that the FBI, which I worked with for 20 years as a prosecutor, and very closely in a number of cases, that they would so radically depart from their procedures that they would take completely unverified hearsay information and just bring it to a court without going out and doing what the Bureau always does to corroborate things. I didn't think that once we learned what was in the application that was made to the FISA court that you would even have any reference to Christopher Steele or the dossier in it. I figured what would have happened, which is what happens in a normal case, is if the FBI gets a tip, no matter where it's from, they'd take 8 or 9 facts that help them establish probable cause. They'd go out and scrub it, meaning they'd, develop witnesses, they'd, scrutinize documents and the like, and only bring to the court those things that they could corroborate, to the point where at that point the dossier would be irrelevant. It would be the FBI's independent investigation. But I think long, Dan, before we got what we got over the weekend finally, which I think I've been screaming for as loud as anyone from the beginning of Trump's presidency to release this stuff. We've had these congressional hearings that have gone on for over a year, and we already had a very good idea. You mentioned the Grassley-Graham memo. We also had the Nunes memo. We had the House Intelligence Committee release its fuller report, and I think we've known for a while what we've now finally seen in black and white, mostly black because it's mostly blacked out. But we've known for a while that this is what they did. They brought uncorroborated information to the court.
Well, what does the Carter Page FISA warrant actually mean? What have you learned from reading it? What's the new information, if there's any?
Well, I think I'm sorry, Amy.
Oh yeah. No. What have you learned from it? From reading the 400-page plus warrant?
Well, I was well. First of all, everybody keeps talking about the 400-page dump on Saturday. I talked about it myself. Mm-hmm. When you really look at it carefully, what you find is it's really not 400 pages of information, and it's interesting to be reminded of this. I knew about it back when I was a prosecutor, and you had to present these packages for wiretaps to the court. A lot of it is not the actual factual information. A lot of it is blacked out copies of the orders and the certifications, and I'd say that's probably at least as much pagination in terms of numbers as the applications themselves. But the thing I think is striking, I guess, is two things. Number one, I was really taken by Byron York's piece yesterday because he, paragraph by paragraph, went through the Nunes memo, which got so much flack from Democrats and the media at the time that he released it. And as Byron shows line by line, what Nunes said to us about what was in these applications was completely accurate. So I think, the amazing thing, of course, is rather than an acknowledgement that it's accurate, it's like they've doubled down on the warpath that they're on against Nunes yesterday, which I just think, shows how political this is. And secondly, I'm also struck by the fact that even though the surveillance went on for a year, if you look at all 4 applications from October 2016 through June of 2017, they kept recycling the same stuff. I mean, you would think that there would be some dramatic change in at least the portions that we're able to see. But even when they cited to press reports, as we go from October to January to April to June, nothing changes. They just basically copy the last thing they said and they paste it into the next thing they say. And you would think if these media reports were vital to showing probable cause, sometime between, October of 2016 and the midsummer of 2017, somebody would have gone out and done some independent investigation so that they wouldn't have to rely on media reports anymore.
Do you agree with the excerpt from Mark Penn's piece that I read at the outset, that this, based on what we know now, this is one of the most significant known violations of American civil liberties in recent history?
I think he's right about that, but I put this caveat on it. He's right about it, assuming that what we've learned from these investigations is true. And what I mean by that, Dan, is there is, you have to acknowledge, a lot of stuff that's still blacked out that
Right.
we haven't seen.
Right.
And if we hadn't had these hearings, I would say, well, who knows what's in those redacted portions. But judging by what we've been told in the hearings, like where McCabe says there's no way we would have been able to get this this warrant unless we had the Steele dossier, or where Comey says we didn't have corroboration, so we relied on the credibility of Steele himself. You know, we do have those bits and pieces. We have the two senators saying there's no information in these affidavits that corroborates the Steele dossier. So they basically just presented the dossier based on what they said was the good reputation of Steele. Since we have that information, I think we can confidently say, yes, we don't know what's in the redactions, but we know what's not in them, and what's not in them is corroboration to this dossier.
And with respect to the argument that was advanced by Jake Tapper when he interviewed Carter Page over the weekend and has been picked up by other Democrats to try and make the case this isn't political at all, that this warrant was renewed 3 times, that it was renewed by multiple judges appointed by Republican presidents. So there you go. It's bipartisan. Even Marco Rubio, sitting Republican senator, said that there was enough evidence to substantiate the warrant for Page surveillance. So this is not a partisan issue. This is based on the merits of the application.
Well, you know, number one, it's a kind of a false portrayal of what partisan means anymore, because the fact that these judges may have been appointed by Republicans doesn't mean that they're not anti-Trump, right? We have a number of people who are Republicans who don't like the president. We've been dealing with that for a couple of years now. But I think, more than that, I must say, I think number one, the judges did a lousy job from what I can see. That happens from time to time. It doesn't really matter who appoints them. They can do a lousy job. I've never been a fan of the FISA court. I always thought FISA was a bad idea. But let me just say one thing in response to this argument that is, maybe it's a little inside baseball, but I think it's telling. When I was a prosecutor, if you had a wiretap that went on for a length of time, and some of these do go on for many months, one of the things that they always did where I worked in the Southern District of New York in Manhattan was a wiretap case got assigned to a particular judge, so that each time you had to get it renewed when the authorization lapsed, you would go back to the same judge, who would therefore be very familiar with the case and would be able to follow it along more closely. And I think the fact that they went to 4 different judges for this is an invitation to the kind of sloppiness and inattention to detail that went on here. You want one judge who is familiar with the whole case, and instead they seem to have gone to 4 different ones, which means you have to recreate the wheel every time and expect that these people are going to read this closely every single time, even though they're completely unfamiliar with the underlying facts. I think that's a very inefficient way to go about reauthorizations, and it leads to the kind of sloppiness I think you see here.
Let's go back to your old stomping grounds, the Southern District of New York, in the Cohen case. The release or the wave of privilege over the weekend for a tape that Cohen made involving him and President Trump speaking about the McDougal payment or non-payment. We don't know exactly what was said. We just know Giuliani's characterization and Landy Davis's characterization and back and forth. And then yesterday, 12 more audio recordings seized during the Cohen raid, privilege wave turned over to the government. These tapes, give me a sense of what's going on with the Cohen case. You've written extensively about this too, that they're really trying to make out an extortion case here, and that the Trump is in some potential legal jeopardy. How do you read this progression of the case and the waiving of privilege on these tapes?
Well, I think the first thing that screams out at you is, why is a lawyer making tapes of people?
That's what I
it's
said.
Really, yeah. I mean, it's to me that's really it's unethical.
Yep.
For a lawyer, if you're going to tape somebody, particularly in connection with legal work, you got to let the person know you're doing it. So I just that I don't get. But I've also maintained from the beginning that I don't think Cohn had what you would call a thriving legal practice.
Right.
I mean, from what we understand, he had a grand total of 3 clients. One being the president, who evidently hasn't really done work for during the time that Trump has been president. And how much work he did before that, we don't know. He said that Sean Hannity was a client. Sean says that that's not true, and there isn't any evidence that it is true. And, you know, there's this one other guy, Broidy, this big Republican contributor who he seems to have engaged to do the same kind of a non-disclosure agreement he did with Trump in connection with an affair that guy is said to have had. And that's it. So I really think that what the government's looking at isn't Cohn's legal work, because it looks to me like there ain't much of it.
Well, do you think that?
But I would.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, do you think any of the
I was
parties
just
would
going
have?
to say he hasn't been charged yet. You
Right.
know, I mean, we don't know.
Well, do you think any of the parties would have withdrawn privilege if there was anything incriminating on the tapes?
No, but, you know, I don't know that they're withdrawing privileges. I understand it. What happened is Barbara Jones, who used to be a federal judge and was my first boss, by the way, in the U.S. Attorney's Office, did a review of the evidence that was seized from Cohn to see, was it lawyer-client stuff, which it only is if it's, you know, you're going to a lawyer having a confidential conversation about legal advice. Other than that, you know, they're not attorney-client privileged information. And I don't think, you know, I think what she was trying to analyze was how much of the stuff is actually covered by privilege. The stuff that is covered by privilege, they're not supposed to give to the government. So I think what's happened here is whatever has been turned over to the government, a determination's been made that it's not privileged. And I don't think people are, if you were a client, even if the tapes showed that you didn't do anything incriminating, if they showed things that were embarrassing, you wouldn't want that out there, so you wouldn't waive your privilege on that.
But
I have to think that what we're looking at is stuff that's not privileged.
Well, but Barbara Jones wrote that on July 20, 2018, the parties withdrew their designations of privileged as to 12 audio items that were under consideration by the special master.
Right.
Based upon those designations, the special master released the 12 items to the government that day. And
Right.
Giuliani, clearly the tape that was talked about so much over the weekend regarding the McDougal matter, Giuliani clearly said we waived the privilege, and he called the tape that we haven't heard exculpatory.
Right. Well, look, we'll have to. What I think they're waiving. I mean, not to get hyper technical here.
Okay.
But I think what they're waiving is their right to go into court and argue that it's privileged.
I see.
Which is a different thing from it being privileged. But you know, I just think it's very hard. There's so many of these situations that we're now dealing with, whether it's Trump and Russia or this Cohn situation, where there's a ton of stuff that's important that we don't know, and we're sort of being led down the rabbit hole to speculate about this or that part of it. And the ball I'm trying to keep my eye on is, has Cohn been charged with anything yet? And does it appear that he has things going on in his life, mainly meaning his business life, that they could be investigating him for that don't have anything to do with Donald Trump? And I think
yeah, right.
That's what I'm focused on. I do think you're right that they're looking at that, and they're certainly looking at these non-disclosure agreements to see if there was anything extortionate, to see if there was any violation of campaign finance laws. I think that those are both very, very uphill things try to prove. But I don't know what other businesses Cohn was doing, and you know why he was a person of interest to them. I would conclude with this though by saying again that I think that if they thought Cohn was the key to showing collusion by Trump for example, there's no way that Mueller would have let the case go to New York. He'd have held on to it.
Did you see that exchange between Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' attorney, and Dershowitz over the weekend, where Avenatti came? Avenatti came. Yeah, exactly. Well, this is where we're at. This is where we're at, Andy. I'm sorry. And he said there are more tapes in response to their discussion about the tape that did come out. There are more tapes, and Dershowitz. Well, how do you know that? The only way you could know that is improperly, and so he sort of characterized Michael Cohen and his relationship as evolving, and
well,
so
they ran into each other at a restaurant in New York.
And so that was he sort of insinuated that was the basis of his knowledge. I mean, does that strike you as strange, and does it raise any concerns about Avenatti getting information from the government he shouldn't have?
I just think that I don't know Avenatti. I'm trying to come up with the right analogy for what a debate between Alan Dershowitz and
yeah, right. Yes.
It's like sending Aaron Judge up to hit against Joey Bag of Donuts.
There you go.
I don't know if what Avenatti says is true or not. And I think that, and I don't mean to cast any more aspersions at him than what we can say on the basis of how he's performed here, but he just seems to me to be a publicity hog, and I'm kind of like when I hear him talk, I'm thinking, I want to see it, show me what you got, because I'm not going to the bank on anything this guy says.
Well, now, admittedly, he was crestfallen over the weekend after learning that Stormy Daniels is getting divorced, so he may not have been in his right mind. Andy McCarthy, former chief assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District, contributing editor at National Review, nationalreview.com. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, how one politician wants to spend other people's money. But first, here's your forecast. Warm today, sunshine, a few high clouds, 87 degrees tonight, clear, a low of 67. And for Wednesday, more of the same. It's going to be mostly sunny, warm, a high in the mid to upper 80s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection System Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Eden's inbound. Little heavy approach at the junction. 21 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy inbound. Looking at 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower from 390 to Burn Circle. It's now a 40-minute drive. Stevenson at 46 minutes. 3:55 for Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 24 minutes. 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes. 80-94 to the merge. I-57 has a 5-minute delay approaching the Ryan. The northbound tri-state bottled up. Reagan Tollway most of the way to Irving Park. The other tollways are still okay. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Are you an experienced homeowner interested in learning the truth about reverse mortgage loans? Have you outlived your retirement assets, or your Social Security no longer covers your monthly expenses? If you're interested in learning how reverse mortgage loans can extend your retirement assets, are you depleting your savings, paying your parents' bills? Are you interested in getting your reverse mortgage loan questions answered by a local reverse mortgage loan expert? Well, if you said yes to any of these questions, then I strongly encourage you to join local radio legend Orion Samuelson and Team Hochberg's free reverse mortgage seminar at Del Webb in Huntley on Friday, July 27th from 3 to 5 p.m. David will explain the many benefits of reverse mortgage loans and answer all your reverse mortgage loan questions. The seminar is free and refreshments will be served. To register for this free reverse mortgage loan seminar on Friday, July 27th at Del Webb in Huntley from 3 to 5 p.m., go to reversedavid.com. That's reversedavid.com. Pearl Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, And I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product. And the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What I suffer from is anxiety, along with depression. But I feel the anxiety triggers depression more times than not. My first experience with HPR was my initial interview. It was welcoming. It felt very good. I saw results pretty much immediately. Even after my first treatment, I felt different than when I came in. I think HPR could work for pretty much anyone. I think that what HPR has done for me was awaken a part of my brain that either stopped working or never worked. I think everybody can benefit from HPR. I'm Alex, and HPR Treatments has helped save my life.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, I've identified our next Passport to Paradise trip for 2019.
Please say it's in the wintertime, not the spring.
Well, I hope it's in the spring because it needs to be a little bit warmer than normal. The big trend right now, and I'm nothing if not a trend-sucking dilettante.
Exactly. But you didn't know what glamping was, but all right.
Nakations.
A nacation?
Yeah.
Oh, let me guess. Naked vacation.
Exactly. How about hedonism or hedonism 2? There's also, I've identified more than 30 nudist resorts in Florida. And let me just give you.
Wow. You know what? I met a couple at our last place in Cancun that this was their first vacation that they've been to where they were closed because he said they always go. He said, "Don't think any less of us." We normally go.
I
to
see
Jamaica.
more. I think more.
There's a great nudist all-inclusive colony, but you walk in there in the foyer, then you'd leave your clothes in a bag, and you don't wear clothes the rest of the trip. They don't even pack a suitcase.
This is big business. I know you follow this organization, the American Association for Nude Recreation, the AANR.
Yeah, I follow them on Twitter. Yeah.
The American Association for Nude Travel, Florida region. They did a study together. $4.3 billion spent on nude travel in the state of Florida in 2016.
Because you don't have to pack a bag. You don't have to worry about.
Save on those baggage fees too at the
exactly.
At the airlines.
You don't have to lug your stuff everywhere.
Oh.
You just bring a purse.
All right.
Some toiletries, and that's it.
That's
awesome.
I'm already envisioning Garrett from Arlington Heights Heating and Cooling naked next year when we vacation.
And what about Rick from Des Plaines? I mean, maybe he can wear his Cubs hat and nothing else. It'd be fantastic.
That's going to be a great trip.
Just don't forget your fanny packs, gentlemen, so we don't have to see those.
That's why I vacation in Alaska.
Yeah,
I have to stay clothed.
Layers.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A landscaping company in a bit of trouble for their marketing campaign. We'll discuss at 6:36.
And later, how a conversation on a plane turned into thousands of dollars for Chicago kids in need. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
67 degrees. There are reports this morning that Russian hackers may have breached networks of U.S. utility companies, some of them big electricity providers. According to the Wall Street Journal, that group of Russian state-sponsored hackers got access to control rooms of U.S. electric utilities and may have caused blackouts. A prominent group that monitors North Korea is publishing satellite images suggesting the North is dismantling a major satellite launch site. Analysts call it a big first step toward fulfilling a commitment hammered out between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The president will visit Kansas City later today. He'll speak with veterans and campaign for a Republican Senate candidate, Josh Hawley. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president is looking into revoking security clearances for several Obama-era officials.
The president is exploring the mechanisms to remove security clearance because they've politicized and in some cases monetized their public service and security clearances.
At the White House yesterday, Sanders says the group does include former CIA Director John Brennan. Thousands of Nike workers are getting a raise. The athletic shoe and apparel giant telling workers in an internal memo the pay hikes are coming for about 7,000 Nike employees, about 10% of the total workforce. Former Fiat Chrysler CEO Sergio Marchionne remains hospitalized in Switzerland and is said to be in grave condition. Auto analyst John McElroy says Marchionne's accomplishments include turning around Chrysler and Fiat and are remarkable.
Fiat, which was worth about $7 billion in market capitalization when he took it over. And if you look at today, FCA and Ferrari combined, they're worth over $70 billion.
Marchionne was replaced as CEO over the weekend in an emergency board of directors meeting for FCA, Fiat Chrysler, when executives learned his condition was worsening. Authorities are investigating after a 15-year-old boy was stabbed, a woman shot during a fight in the North Lawndale neighborhood. A woman reported missing from a northwest Indiana beach late Monday. Gary police says it received a call around 7:30 of a possible drowning at Marquette Beach. Indiana Department of Natural Resources say they're continuing to look for that person who had been swimming with friends when she went missing. A group of community activists in Chicago planning to march on Lakeshore Drive to Wrigley Field. It will happen August 2nd. And two men are accused of beating a man to death during a robbery over the weekend in Lake Villa. Those two men, Jordan Toney and Buddy Johnson, are both charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Chicago sports, Diamondbacks over the Cubs 7-1. White Sox over the Angels 5-3. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, their grief is unique, but you are not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or MADD.org. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes it's been a witch hunt since 2016.
To be a member of the mainstream media, news media today, should be a source of moral embarrassment. But it isn't, because, as I have said for decades, being on the left means never having to say you're sorry. The media and the left and its party, the Democratic Party, sustain hysteria they have from the moment of the election.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
How's your breath? If you're not using TheraBreath, it might be bad. TheraBreath is guaranteed to give you fresh breath or your money back. Available at your local drugstore. Visit TheraBreath.com for coupons and locations.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
.37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays start at Niles Center Road. It's 24 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, out on 22. Kennedy, 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 17 from Montrose, 12 in the Express. Outbound, it's 25 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, now 50 minutes from 390 to downtown, 36 from Manheim, up on 32 to 390. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, up on 36. Pine is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy, 95th to LaGrange Road, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral, then Veterans Memorial tied Finley to St. Charles. Traffic, service of Cook County Treasurer. Attention Cook County homeowners, Cook County property taxes are due August 1st. You can pay for free at cookcountytreasurer.com. No lines, no stamps, no checks, no cash. Easy, simple. You can get on with your day. Pay for free at cookcountytreasurer.com. That's cookcountytreasurer.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Seasonably warm, nice summer day, sunshine, high 87. Currently 68 degrees. Your next news update is at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and this company, MoMasters in Carrollton, Texas. Carrollton's original lawn service. It markets itself. High business standards, follow tax laws, best credentials, ethics, ratings, and reviews. Employees are crime and drug-free. We are insured. Taking back Carrollton one lawn at a time.
Okay.
And here's the rub.
That sounds like a great marketing plan. Taking America back one lawn at a time?
Taking back Carrollton one lawn
okay.
at a time.
Yeah, because they're regentrification, making people's yards look nice. Property values will go up then.
American-owned, your alternative to illegal lawn services. That's the part that's got some people upset.
Could you repeat that, please?
American-owned, your alternative to illegal lawn services. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Any controversy? Or do you find this controversial at all? Do you find it inappropriate to market your company as such? MoMasters.com, American-owned, your alternative to illegal lawn services. Would you patronize MoMasters with that kind of marketing? That's on a business card. Now,
that is hysterical.
Jeff Hinkle, the owner of MoMasters, said that was a sample card from a few years ago.
Oh no, he's not walking that. You got to own this. He said it. It's out there. Just wrap yourself around it.
He said in a statement, many card samples were made up to determine which wording would be used to let customers know there are legitimate, honest, tax-paying lawn services with excellent credentials and verifiable backgrounds. Well, that's another way of saying we're not illegal. Just said it in more flowery language. Another photo shows the slogan on one of the company's work trucks, and the slogan. What was the slogan on one of the? Thank you for choosing MoMasters, a rewarding USA-owned, legitimate, tax-paying company. Thank you for doing the right thing.
They had that on the side of their truck?
Mm-hmm. American-owned,
there's a
your
big
alternative to Eat Lawn Services, taking Carrollton back one lawn at a time. You don't have you find this humorous? Well, Fonzie Guzman.
Oh, hey, the Fonz.
Yeah, hey, oh.
Hey.
He said to Jeff Hinkle, up your nose with a rubber hose. No, not exactly. Here's what Fonzie, is one of his competitors, said.
I don't, wish bad upon him. But at the same time, it's just like, you be careful how you promote your business. Hope his business grows, but doing it the right way.
Unintended.
Not, shaming other people's businesses or their background.
Well, here's the thing.
Shaming.
Shaming.
Is that shaming or is that distinguishing?
Here's the deal. And it does sound a little racist, a little bit.
Well, why is it racist?
Well, we're your alternative to a legal lawn service.
Well, why is it racist?
It just seems a little racist, but it's the truth. It is true. I've been calling on lawn care companies for 18 years, and it's hard to find somebody who isn't here illegally. They are all here illegally. And then when the season's over, they go back home to wherever they're from, and then the next year they come back. I know somebody very well. I'm not going to say their name, close to the family, who owned a lawn care service for 20 plus years, and every year they'd wire money to a homeless shelter in LA, and then they would come over by train or take the Greyhound bus. Very hard workers, very loyal, never ever called in sick. They were the most reliable group of guys. And then when the season was over, they'd go back home and take their money. They'd make money for the year for their family and bring that money back home.
So knowing that there are a lot of persons here illegally that are in the landscaping business, what is the problem with distinguishing yourself from that caricature, in part, truth in part, of landscaping businesses as primarily employing persons that are here illegally? By the way, in terms of this kind of nebulous charge of racism, 3 of Hinkle's employees, this is MoMasters employees, 3 of his employees say they're Mexican, according to the CBS affiliate down there in Carrollton.
All right, well.
So it's a marketing to distinguish. So we know people are here illegally. We know people come here to work illegally.
Mostly sometimes do jobs that Americans don't want to do.
Well, apparently some Americans do want to do them. They work at MoMasters. And so why can't he market his company as such without having to endure the charge of racism? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. I mean, that Fonzie, hey! Guzman, he was reasonable about it, but it's not shaming other businesses. Well, if you're hiring people who are here illegally, that's what you're doing, and I'm not doing that. That changes the nature of the business. It's sort of like a Buy American campaign. Is Buy American racist? I see the commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Buy union labor. Is that racist? Products produced by union labor. I see all kinds of marketing campaigns. Why not this? Tom in Deer Park here in Chicago. Want to answer?
Oh, hi. Good morning. I'm all for it. Why not build a business slogan based on xenophobia? Give the customer what they want. It certainly worked for the presidential campaign. Guy got himself elected on it, so I see no problem with it.
Why is it xenophobia?
Xenophobia.
Why is it xenophobia?
Because I think you just covered it in your discussion. It's basically saying, hey, we're not, wink, wink, we're not hiring any Mexicans. Come and use us. I think it's clever.
Illegal lawn services. Why is it? I mean, it doesn't have to be Mexican. It doesn't say Mexicans. It says people. It's essentially intimating that he's talking about people here illegally, companies that are avoiding the requirements of a legal business that he's not avoiding. So why is that xenophobic?
Well, I don't think he's referring to Bulgarians or Albanians. Do you, Dan?
Well,
I think he
I don't know what he's referring to. There's but there are people other than Mexicans that come through to this country through the southern border, aren't there?
Yeah, I had a guy that worked on my lawn. He didn't even speak Spanish. It was I forget what it was, but he was like an indigenous. He didn't speak a lick of Spanish. It was like some indigenous language from down in Central America.
Well, okay,
yeah,
so I just thanks for the call. I don't see why this is necessarily xenophobic. You know, some businesses are operating this way,
right?
And nobody's
we all know it. Please,
and nobody's disputing it. So I'm saying, here's how I operate my business. It's the same thing as sending out to me. I mean, unless there's some overt racist nature here, but it doesn't seem to be the case, and the CBS coverage locally down there didn't portray it as such. It's the same thing as saying, hey. Look for the union label. I'm a union shop, and so patronize me because I support trade unions. Why is that any different? In fact, this is that's less compelling than this, because the private shop versus the closed shop, neither one of those are illegal or operating illegally. Some of these businesses clearly are, by definition. So why does this have to be racism and xenophobia? Lee on the south side.
Yeah, you touched on my point is in defense of what you were saying, it's not racist to mention illegal aliens and that, because if somebody does in fact accuse you of racism, they themselves are racist because they're associating illegal aliens with a specific demographic group. And it can in fact be any demographic group. In fact, my daughter-in-law, who is now an American, is from Russia, and she was here illegally.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the call, Lee. Look, in the trades, you don't think there's people from Central Europe and Eastern Europe that overstay their visas, or some got here some other way?
40% of the people here illegally overstayed their visas.
But I mean, talking about specifically in businesses where Americans do work, which is most of them, it turns out. But okay. So why does it have to be, and why does this have to be so controversial, I suppose, other than on the other side, which is it's so bad and it's so accepted that you actually have marketing campaigns to distinguish yourself as a legitimate business following all of the laws versus businesses that follow some of them. Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. First off, legal status is not a race, so you can't be racist. Second of all, Mexicans are not a race. They're an ethnic group, and they're multiracial. So this is just wringing their hands and the liberals whining.
Right.
Now, the only one that complain about overstaying a visa, the Native Americans want the Plymouth colonists and their descendants to leave. They overstayed the visa.
All right, thanks for the call, Mike. Bob in Waukegan.
Yeah, I would like to never hear from the voice of Amy Jacobson once again that illegals will do the jobs that Americans won't do. Because if every illegal who came across the border was an announcer on a radio station, if they could flood her market and undercut her wage by 40%.
They are. Wojo's killing us.
La Ley, El Terrible is getting, he's on our back door.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, Amy.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
American. I served in the United States Marine Corps.
I appreciate
and
your
I have
service.
worked, and I've worked like a Mexican for the last 45 years. I went to a house in Lake Forest. They had an illegal working there.
Yeah.
He did all the easy jobs in the house. The lady called me to do 3 jobs. I talked to the illegal because he was there when I was there. And I said, Martine, how come you didn't do this? And he goes, it was too hard. And I said, how come you didn't do this? He goes, it was too hard. And how come you didn't do this? It was too hard. So a white lady from Lake Forest hired an American to do all the work that an illegal wouldn't do. So I never want to hear that out of you again.
All right, thanks for the call, Bob.
Got a timeout, huh?
Text from 847. Maybe he could have just said, we use E-Verified as your lawn service.
Oh, that would have been.
I mean,
Less graphics on the side of the car.
to the extent a small business like that can hook into E-Verify and trust the worthiness of it, accuracy.
And real quick, in reference to what Bob said, it is the people, the company that I know that hired people here illegally, they did work hard. They never missed a day. And I've actually met them. So.
Well, so what?
Well, I mean, every case is different. Bob's situation, what he experienced with people here illegally,
He just
is
said
different than what I experienced.
He said he's worked like a
telling you.
Mexican for the last 40 years.
He worked like an American because he's a strong American man and he's a Marine. So
let me finish now.
Oh, boy.
He said he
Go ahead,
worked
Bob.
like.
Yes. Okay.
Can I finish or
yes,
no?
no, yeah. He said that he worked like a Mexican.
For the last 40 years, and you know what he was saying? I worked hard.
Yeah, he did.
So what? This is not about people of any particular background not working hard. I mean, that's one of the things. Frankly, Mexicans, this hardworking. It's legal status. That's the issue.
Okay.
Lee and Hammond.
You know, as someone that is of Mexican heritage, this is just another bogus argument by the left. It's like the Muslim ban that Trump trying to block people that come from lawless states as a Muslim ban, when it's just the obvious that there's states that are in anarchy. It's the same thing with this. There's nothing stating that they're anti-Hispanic or anything like that. They're just stating the obvious that if you want to support an American company, support us. We are Americans. We do jobs that normally a lot of illegals are doing, and we would like your support. What is wrong with that?
All right, thanks, Lee. John in Palatine.
Hey, Dan, I think I want to make 2 points. One was that the left picks apart this type because they want it both ways, and they can't make a strong argument, so they have to basically paint everything with the same paintbrush. And secondly, I think the guy is more within his bounds because he's employing people who are here illegally. They are paying taxes like all legal citizens. They are helping support the services that our government provides and not leeching off the government entitlement programs. And so therefore, he's advertising that he's, that everybody's playing fair. And I think it's a good thing.
Thanks, John.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Home sales drop for a third straight month as home prices rise to record highs. And U.S. oil sanctions against Iran may affect India. Hasbro rebounding after Toys R Us closes. Those stories next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code SAVE20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair income. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code SAVE20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com. Promo code SAVE20.
Sales of existing homes fell 0.6% in June. The National Association of Realtors, June, the third straight month that a combination of higher prices and lack of inventory sidelined home buyers. India relying on Iran as its top oil supplier in the April through June quarter, but with Iran facing the threat of U.S. oil sanctions beginning in November, India's petroleum minister warns the nation's oil supply could be compromised and it may seek other petroleum sources. Shares of toy maker Hasbro rose 13% Monday after second quarter profits and revenue topped Wall Street targets. Hasbro, makers of Play-Doh and games like Monopoly, was expected to face a tough year after retailer Toys R Us went out of business. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. What a contrast, right? At the same time, President Trump was stumbling through his post-game presser with Putin, which necessitated a next-day contraction-retraction. Former President Obama was in South Africa treating the world to his soaring rhetoric, thereby reminding us how good we had it. That's the D.C. press corps' version of events. Unfortunately for Democrats, Obama's tawdry sentimentality and life's little instruction book maxims hold up about as well over time as do his policies. Obama got away with congenial disdain for the Bible and gun clingers, but his political progeny, not to mention his administration's apparatchiks, are not nearly as adroit. Obama's veiled invective is weak tea compared to his former CIA director's call for a firing squad. Obama's cliche-ridden claptrap lacks the appeal of Adam Schiff's Manchurian Candidate conspiracy theories or a Business Insider deep dive on bugging soccer balls. Obama served as a veneer for the left's ugliness. Trump has unleashed it and marginalized Obama as a political asset in the process. Now Trump leads the left's parade of horribles around by their pea hats in full public view. It's messy, and Trump is sloppy, but like the 1983 Chicago White Sox, Trump is winning ugly.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
It's back. The MyPillow buy one, get one free offer back for the month of July. And if you haven't bought your MyPillows yet, here's your chance to save big. Hey, even our 45th president mentioned he sleeps on a MyPillow. Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, was at his rally in Fargo last month, and the president recognized him and endorsed MyPillow on national TV. I love that I can move the field to get the support I need regardless of my sleep position. I never wake up with a headache or a stiff neck. MyPillow is made in America, washable, dryable, hypoallergenic. It has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go online or call now for this BOGO deal and others, including 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress toppers, as well as the pet beds, sheets, and more. Call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy, or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's up to 50 dead in a fiery disaster in Greece. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. 2 wildfires have been scorching coastal areas near Athens. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from our European Bureau.
Dave, survivors giving dramatic accounts of how they ran into the sea to escape. Nikos Stavronidis saying we ran and fell into the water and went as far as we could. He says the wind whipping up the flames was indescribable, incredible. Others tried to reach the water but didn't make it. Rescuers reporting finding 26 bodies lying close together around 100 feet from the shore, some of them embracing as they realized they were trapped by smoke and flames. Dave?
Simon, a skirmish in the sky over the Middle East. Israel says it shot down a Syrian fighter jet that ventured into its airspace, and the military says there's been an increase in the internal fighting in Syria since the morning hours. North Korea may be taking another step toward denuclearization. There are reports it's dismantling facilities around a key launch site. President Trump is taking aim at some of his critics, wanting to revoke security clearances of 6 ex-national security officials, including former CIA Director John Brennan, who suggested last week the president committed treason at that meeting with Russia's leader. Republican Senator Rand Paul supports the move.
They are nakedly partisan, and John Brennan should not get anywhere within 10,000 yards of the government. He should have a restraining order.
Brennan says he hasn't made any money from his clearance. James Clapper, who's also on the target list, calls it very petty. They're voting in Georgia in primary runoffs, including a Republican race for governor.
Across our great state, people are really asking who's up there fighting for us.
Brian Kemp has President Trump's support. He's facing Casey Cagle, who's backed by current Governor Nathan Deal. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Clear skies, 68 degrees. 7:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 5 are wounded this morning following a shooting on Chicago's South Side. The group was standing on the sidewalk last night near 64th and May when someone in a passing white Jeep fired shots. All of the victims in the mass shooting remain hospitalized, including a 16-year-old in good condition and a man in critical condition. There have been no arrests. Authorities say one swimmer was rescued, another missing amid choppy Lake Michigan waters off a northwest Indiana beach. Police in Gary say crews looked for the woman missing through the evening near Marquette Beach. The search was temporarily suspended due to weather conditions and darkness. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources identified the missing woman as a 24-year-old from Maryville, and the search has resumed this morning. Health officials here in Cook County have issued a warning for a possible measles exposure. The Department of Health says a resident recently caught the virus overseas and during that infection period visited a Panera Bread on West Division in Old Town and a Jewel-Osco in Mount Prospect on Euclid on July 14. Anyone who visited those locations may have been exposed to the virus, and symptoms include rash, high fever, runny nose, and red, watery eyes. Longtime Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz retiring from the city council next year. Munoz announcing yesterday he will not run for re-election at the end of this term. Diamondbacks cruise past the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley Field. Jose Abreu 2-for-4 with a home run. White Sox over the Angels 5-3 in Anaheim, making a winner out of Lucas Giolito.
Yeah, I only went 6 innings. Bullpen took it from there. We played some matchups. They're amazing tonight. Punch outs, putting guys away, and then Soria closed the door.
Bears training camp closed to the public today and tomorrow. The next open practice coming on Thursday. The news service of Unbound.org. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a news story. See Potential Not Poverty at Unbound.org. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
As press secretary for President Trump, Sean Spicer had a front row seat to history. And in his new book, he reveals details about what really happened behind the scenes during the campaign and the early days of the administration. On Wednesday, August 8th, Sean Spicer is coming to Chicago. Meet Sean Spicer and get a copy of his new book, The Briefing, at the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Tickets are absolutely free. Thanks to healthinsurancementors.com. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/briefing. That's 560theanswer.com/briefing.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $13.89 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
7:07 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing a big jam on the northbound Tri-State Tollway from Cicero Avenue to 95th Street. There's a crash in the left lane. Farther north, it's heavy from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and very heavy from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Southbound Tri-State, now heavy coming in from the north, Washington to Eau Plaine. Eastbound Reagan Tollway a bit tight north of the Tri-State. The northbound Veterans Memorial has delays 75th to St. Charles. The Edens runs 26 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 23 from Montrose, 18 in the Express. Outbound 16 minutes to Montrose, 32 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour, 390 to downtown, 45 minutes from Manheim, outbound 38, 390. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sunshine and patchy clouds for the day, high 87, clear night, low 67. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 87, and a partly cloudy night with a low 69. Partly sunny Thursday with a shower in the area with a high around 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
69 at O'Hare, 71 along the lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It seems like just a few years ago, I was leading the charge of Whitey's for Willie. And here we are again, Willie Wilson running for mayor back in 2015, running for mayor in 2019, and caused a bit of a stir over the weekend at a church on the south side of the city when he decided to help out some of the congregants of the New Covenant Church with a little bit of cash for their property tax bill, for their cable bill, for their electricity bill, and the like.
Yeah, and the State Board of Elections said the cash and check giveaway, which was done via his charitable foundation, does not appear to have violated any election laws, which was strange, though. It's the same day that he was at New Covenant Missionary Baptist Church. Governor Rauner just happened to be there on the same day, and he didn't see anyone taking cash.
I did not see anybody hand out any cash yesterday. I think that the idea of handing out cash if you're a candidate for office is outrageous. It should not happen.
So he's come under fire from state politicians. Obviously, our governor saying that it seems as if he was trying to buy votes on Sunday.
And Ronner's a $100,000 donor to the Willie Wilson Foundation. That this was a 501c3. That's where he got the money. He said that he was distributing to individuals. So there's nothing illegal about that. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Chicago mayoral candidate, Willie Wilson. Willie, thanks for being with us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I say good morning to you and Amy. How y'all doing as well?
Good. A little short, though, this week. Could use some cash. But here's the thing. So you were at this event with Bruce Ronner on Sunday at the Southside Church. Did you coordinate with Ronner at all for that appearance? Did he know you were going to do what you did?
Well, we do these things every year and every 6 months. What originally prompted the whole thing was that, my anniversary for my TV show Sensation. We get out and we celebrated by giving money to people in the community. This time, of course, the taxes went up, and people are going to be short a lot of money, and people are going to be buying their home from there. And so I asked Bruce last year for $100,000, and he gave it to me. And I asked him also this year for $100,000. He gave that to me as well. None of that money of his was used for giving the cash out. My money, I put $200,000 in there. And a lot of the check that we had written out, some people didn't show up, so we're going to be passing that out maybe, next Sunday, the following month as well. And so, but meanwhile, if we do these things, I'm accustomed to it, that when people hear that I'm in a church donating, giving dollars away to people that come to pick up with checks, we get 300 or 400, 500 or 700 people come through the door. But now these people that come through the door, we don't have them on the list. Some is second chances, people, misdemeanor, non-violent, and same as I bail them out of jail. I turn around and give them cash to have food to eat. Some senior citizen, and some is kids from off the street. When they, come to me like that, unexpected, I always bring extra cash with me to make sure that I give it to them. And so I'm just not going to turn anybody down that is hungry or in need. So I go and I give away what I have. And so I had put into my account, in my pocket, about an extra $40,000 roughly, and to give away. So they came in, and I gave it away. Now, Bruce, I believe, had left by then. It was so many people in line and everything. We wasn't buying votes.
It was just a coincidence.
I do what I'm accustomed to doing all the time,
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 20, 30 years,
It was just a coincidence that you were there at the same church.
Well, I know. I invited Bruce to that service with me, same as I've done in previous years,
Yeah, Bruce had to go. He had to leave. He had to go give cash to Jim Durkin, so that's why he had to give. Now, where are you going to go? What church are you going to this weekend, Willie? Because Amy would like to know. She's church shopping.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, there's a church on Aldama. I tell you what, I can text you the address. I don't got the address, but I'll be to church every Sunday. And every Sunday, 52 weeks out of the year, I'm giving away money in churches. Been doing that for the last 15, 20 years, and we'll continue to do that.
You are a wonderful man.
It's hard because, first of all, the mayor raise haven't even started yet officially. Secondly, is that when people raise people property taxes out here on people and take their property from them, and shorten it from 12 months to 8 months, those to me seem to be people need to be in trouble, in jail somewhere for taking people's property. I haven't done anything wrong but give away dollars to help the people out there that is in need.
No, I believe your heart is in the right place, but do you understand why people see this as you trying to buy votes?
Well, you know what? Not really, because if you check my record for the last 20 or 30 years, I've been doing this all along. You guys know, been on the news many times, people we got out of jail and people we give property taxes. This is money that I actually give away. I mean, those people who are doing the complaining, but think about this year. Sunday, if we was in the church, I was the guest speaker, of course, there. I asked people to raise their hand how many people in that audience out there had ever committed or thought about committing suicide. Do you know 75 to 100 people raised their hand and came down for prayer at St. John Church? Now, those people are in desperate need because they got no place to go. So I don't try to stop doing good because of what somebody perceives it to be. I don't need to buy any vote. We have over 2,000 people Sunday or more. Any one of those people would definitely tell you, I did not ask them to vote for me at all. I didn't even bring them in my mouth, vote for me, or anything like that. It wasn't even about political. It was about coming there trying to help others. My record shows this 20, 30 years in a row, all during the week. I carry at least down the street, I give at least $300,000 a year out of my pocket, and just give to people to make sure that they can have food. They hold signs up and everything else like that. I don't know much about the laws of politics. I'm just accustomed to doing what I do.
Well, you have to understand, though, Willie, people are not used to candidates for office in this state doing good works. So you have to understand how jarring that is. When you're a candidate for, like, mayor of Chicago, you're not supposed to help people. So this is unusual.
Well, it's unusual, but it's also people are accustomed to taking money from the poor.
Yep.
I just refuse
Well, that's what the politicians do. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I refuse to do that. I never will do that. Why don't those politicians get out and give like me? Why don't they reduce those taxes and things like that, let people keep their homes? Why don't they do things like that instead of just taking from the people?
Yeah.
Somebody got to see some light, some good, and then somebody doing good for the community.
I like that.
Help save them.
I like that.
Keep doing those type of things.
Why don't we, let's see, once you issue a challenge to Tiny Dancer to take some of that GTCR money that he made for that year and a half he pretended to be an investment banker and go dollar for dollar for Willie Wilson on the south and west sides of the city. How about that?
Listen, I welcome anybody that want to come and donate to my foundation to give to the people and to the community. I wouldn't look. I'm not about wrongdoing for anybody. And I don't see me turning in for me stop from doing good because of somebody gonna claim me trying to steal votes and things like that. I mean, just come in, you go in your pocket and give, and otherwise, if you can't give and help people, they just need to shut up,
Well, it's pretty funny too. Will, you've been around for a while. Do you find the good government types all of the sudden, all of the hand-wringing from politicians and the Chicago Press Corps that know very well all of the illegal activity that's gone on in Chicago elections since, I don't know, the early 1800s. And they're so concerned about you somehow corrupting this wonderful electoral process and system we have in the city?
Well, I suppose some things make sense, but if you're going to check a person's record, and believe me, you can check my record in and out. My foundation in order, all my taxes up to date. And if you look at all my taxes, you see all the contribution that I give out here. And I suppose that is so corrupt. People have to put in measurement for a different situation and things like that. But, like, I just, it doesn't make sense to me, but especially if you look at a person's track record, and I've been brought up to always judge a person for what they do and what you see, you know, and so I get that's in my mind,
Hey, Willie, I wanted to ask you about the violence, and particularly in the south and west sides, but violence throughout the city of Chicago, carjackings and the likes as well. And then the effort by Flagler a few weeks ago shut down the Dan Ryan. The effort by your friend Greg Livingston in a couple of weeks to shut down Lakeshore Drive and march to Wrigley Field. You think that these shutdowns and these marches are going to have any effect in terms of reducing violence?
Well, to your first question this year, when I become mayor of the city of Chicago, I'm going to stop violence. 90% of it. And I tell you this here because 18 to 25 particular African American males are unemployed, like 49 or 50% unemployed. We have to take the tax dollars and make sure everything is equally shared in all 7 communities of the city of Chicago. Because the area do not have economic jobs and contracts and been taken out of that, that's causing a problem to go to drugs and otherwise and things of that nature. Because I've got a lot of people out of jail. A lot of them just ask, look, drugs doesn't pay. We need to take them have jobs, and we won't go back in there and do that. On the other question, in terms of Father Pfleger and going out and doing what he did, I got to tell you, I thought Father Pfleger the other day, I really didn't see, I couldn't make sense out of that because violence is all over Chicago. It just drew a blank in my mind altogether on that. Not knocking anybody, I'm just talking to me personally. To bring attention to it, we all know violence is high in the crime areas in just certain communities in Chicago. But he did what he did, and I suppose that kind of like threw me for a little gap, and closed down the Dan Ryan Expressway. And I'm not going to say I'm supportive or against it. It just drew a blank in my mind. And on that piece, and then for Greg Livingston and I think T.O. going out and everything to do the close down, I believe, Lakeshore Drive, I believe that they probably may get arrested. I told somebody the other day, I said, look, you know, Chicago is very segregated. Let's see what happens. It's going to be very interesting here. If they go out and close down the Lakeshore Drive, will they get arrested or not? Now, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, Father Pfleger happen to be white and they happen to be black. I said, this is going to be a very interesting thing to see.
All right.
So I'm waiting on that verdict of that because that ain't going to be hard. I'm waiting just to see what happened there.
All right. He is Willie Wilson. He is a mayoral candidate again in 2019 for the city of Chicago. Willie, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
You know what Willie Wilson could do? He could pay those gangbangers that they know who are going to commit crimes and homicides. He could pay them to stay home on Friday and Saturday nights. That might cut down on the homicide rate, no?
Yeah,
I don't know.
about
Just
that.
trying to think outside the
price
box.
point. I think, giving alms to people that are struggling probably does.
All right. Sunshine today, some clouds by this afternoon, no big deal. A high of 87 degrees, cooler near the lakefront. Tonight, clear, a low of 67. And for Wednesday, more of the same, mostly sunny skies, a high of 87 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Northbound Tri-State traffic's jammed. Cicero to 95th. There's a crash in the left lane. Farther north, delays are from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial. It's stop and go from the Boughton Toll to St. Charles. Aiden's 26 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 45. O'Hare to downtown. Big savings in the Express. Eisenhower an hour 390 to the Circle. Stevenson 50 minutes 355 to the Drive. Ryan is a half hour 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Oh, your kids aren't thinking about school right now, but you should be thinking about where you want to send your child off to school this fall. And more parents are thinking about private schools, and maybe that's you. Well, private schools have never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com. You can find tuition vouchers for private schools across the Chicagoland area, including St. Paul Lutheran School in Aurora. There's Emmanuel Lutheran School in Palatine, Calvin Christian School in South Holland. The list goes on and on. It's simple. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. There's no catch. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and these deals won't last forever. Some vouchers have already sold out. Do not delay. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
When the Senate was debating cutting taxes, Senator Joe Donnelly told us this.
If they bring a good tax bill before me that helps middle-class families, count me in every time.
But how did Senator Donnelly actually vote? Listen to President Trump.
Joe Donnelly voted no on tax cuts.
The Trump tax cuts are working for Indiana. Middle-class families will receive a tax cut of more than $2,000. Thanks to tax cuts, Hoosier businesses are hiring, raising wages, and paying employee bonuses. But Senator Donnelly voted no. It's time for Joe Donnelly to change course on tax cuts. Call Senator Joe Donnelly, 202-224-4814. Tell him the Trump tax cuts are working and to vote yes on S2687 to make our tax reforms permanent. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
The Daily Herald Business Ledger C-Suite Awards are this Thursday, July 26th, honoring the leadership, business, and civic contributors, business leaders that have made it to their organizations and to the suburban Chicago community. Register to attend the Daily Herald Business Ledger C-Suite Awards ceremony at the Northern Illinois University Naperville campus. Find out all the details at dhbusinessledger.com. That's dhbusinessledger.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants. Or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Paint like a pro, even if you're not one. Start with Lowe's for the leading paint and stain brands professional painters rely on day in and day out, like Purdy brushes and rollers for a smooth, even finish, and Cabot stains for long-lasting, durable coverage. Need a couple tricks of the trade? Talk to our helpful associates at the paint desk. They can offer advice on anything from choosing the right roller nap to taping techniques, so your project goes smoothly from start to pro-level finish. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-210-6779. 800-210-6779. Don't wait. Call now. 800-210-6779. 800-210-6779.
AM 560, The Answer.
A lot of reaction to our Willie Wilson interview. Tweet from Tom Owens. Willie comes off as an intellectually honest Paul. The norm is to bribe us with our money. Yeah, agreed. Text from 224, Bruce Ronner uses his own money. Willie does the same, and now Willie is wrong. Willie's giving to hardworking poor people who need the money. Bruce is giving his money to worthless, wealthy Illinois Republican career pals who've already enriched themselves from the Illinois treasure chest and taxpayers. Yeah? Okay. I stipulate to both.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to our friend Juan Williams, Fox News contributor, about, the stormy breakup.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly, he must be beside himself. Also, formalizing the relationship the state-run media has in New York at 7:37.
And look who's not showing up for President Trump's first visit to Illinois as president. Not even sure of the date, is he? We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Clear skies, sunshine, 68 degrees, 5 wounded following a shooting, Chicago's south side. Police say a group was standing on the sidewalk last night near 64th and May when someone in a passing white Jeep fired shots. At least 60 are dead in Greece. Wildfires sweeping through a major tourist region around Athens. Rescuers have found bodies of more than 24 adults and children huddled together. It's the worst fire disaster in Greece in more than a decade. Extreme weather threatening millions of Americans. Heavy rains and the threat of flooding soaking the east and around Colorado Springs yesterday. Carolina is also hit with heavy rain, and the Southwest is broiling under record high temperatures. Phoenix, 117 today. American investigators believe Russian hackers have breached U.S. utility company networks. Wall Street Journal says the Russian state-sponsored hackers got access to control rooms of electric utilities and may have triggered blackouts. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president is looking into revoking the security clearances of several Obama-era officials.
The president is exploring the mechanisms to remove security clearance because they've politicized and in some cases monetized their public service and security clearances.
Those targeted include former FBI Director James Comey and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. Robert Wilkie, the new Secretary of the VA. The Senate confirmed Wilkie yesterday. Authorities say a swimmer was rescued, another missing amid choppy waters in Lake Michigan off a northwest Indiana beach. Longtime Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz retiring from the city council next year. And the governor signed legislation allowing some county clerk offices to absorb the functions of election commissions that currently operate separately. The bill resulted from a DuPage County advisory referendum that passed in March. Diamondbacks over the Cubs 7-1. White Sox slip past the Angels 5-3. The news is a service of EAA Aviation Center. The world's greatest aviation celebration is in your own backyard. EAA AirVenture Oshkosh, July 23rd through the 29th. For information or to buy tickets, visit airventure.org. Experience EAA AirVenture Oshkosh this summer. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes it's been a witch hunt since 2016.
To be a member of the mainstream media, news media today, should be a source of moral embarrassment. But it isn't because, as I have said for decades, being on the left means never having to say you're sorry. The media and the left and its party, the Democratic Party, sustain hysteria they have from the moment of the election.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
736. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. And on Kennedy's getting heavier with delays from Nagel to the Burn Circle. It's 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 29 from Montrose, 17 in the Express. Outbound, it's 47 minutes at the airport. Eden's 23 minutes from Lake Cook to the Kennedy. Outbound 26. Eisenhower, 1 hour, 390 to downtown, 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 52 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State Stop and Go Washington to Eau Plaine. Northbound Crawford to 95th after a crash. Then from the Stevenson to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Oil, it's bottled up. Mountain to St. Charles. Southbound 53 tight Rand to Northwest Highway. Traffic Service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving, drugged driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunshine with patchy clouds and a high of 87. Currently 69. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the Obama six heads of or senior intel and law enforcement officers from the Obama years. That'd be Gus Hall fan, John Brennan, former CIA director. That'd be your Jim Clapper. That'd be your
Susan Rice.
That'd be your Jim Comey. That'd be your Andy McCabe. That'd be your Michael Hayden. They're on the cusp of having their security clearances revoked because they're, attempting to undermine the presidency and the president administration and making money in the process. James Clapper, clap on, clap off. James Clapper, not happy about it.
I think it's off the top of my head. It's kind of a sad commentary where, for political reasons, this is a kind of a petty way of retribution, I suppose, for speaking out against the president, which I think are on the part of all of us are born out of genuine concerns about President Trump.
Oh, I do declare politics going on in D.C. Oh, Jimmy. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Juan Williams, our friend from Fox News contributor, columnist for The Hill, thehill.com. Juan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, good morning. My pleasure to be with you.
So what about the prospect of revoking the security clearance of those individuals? Does Trump have a legitimate basis to do so?
He's the president. He can do what he wants to do, but it reminds me of that body slam of CNN. You remember that video? I think this is him coming out and saying I'm the big guy here, and I don't like you critics. I don't like the idea that people from the intelligence community, or what he would call deep state, don't like me and are critical of me, and publicly critical, and use their credibility as former intelligence officials to go after me and call me all kinds of names. So he's getting payback. That's what this is.
Yeah, because they're using their positions, I think, well, for monetary gain, obviously, and to increase their reputations for possible book sales, but also to tear down, I think, the Trump administration. How do you feel?
I think if you have a different point of view, I don't think that's illegitimate in America. You can have, you can say, I don't like Obama, and I don't think anybody says, oh, that means you're not patriotic or not a good citizen, Amy. I think it's like you're right. And then people say, well, why do you say that? And you can explain. This is America. That's the glory of America.
Yeah.
But these guys, by the way, Sarah Sanders said yesterday that they are monetizing and politicizing it. If it was the case that they were going in and getting briefings and then selling that material, well, that would be treasonous. That would be a crime. That's not what's going on here. The reason that they have that kind of continued security clearance after they leave their jobs is so they can be of help to people who are currently in the job, given their experience, their background. They can, offer some guidance as to what's the best way to proceed when the country faces some threat or crisis.
Yeah, John Brennan, James Clapper can advise on how to lie to Congress, for example.
Well, I think that I like the way you put that. It's very, that's a partisan skewer, but I think the reality is that they don't sell stuff. They in fact are there to offer counsel, but that doesn't mean they can't have their opinion about President Trump.
No, but it just doesn't mean they're entitled in any way to security clearance either. But the good news is John Brennan is going to be able to continue to share his opinions because House Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte wants to whistle him before the committee to answer some questions about his involvement in all of this Russian collusion investigation business. So that's good.
Yeah,
news.
and I think, again, that to me, that's legitimate. The question is this some kind of Star Chamber proceeding, or is Goodlatte being serious here and say, hey, I want to know something? What we saw, for instance, over the weekend on the FISA warrant, when that was, was greatly redacted, but when it was released was, now we understand that this was a legitimate process in terms of the FBI beginning to have some surveillance of Carter Page. I think, let's get all the answers. I'm all for sunlight, but I don't like the way that politics gets involved and say that, we're going to punish you, we're going to slap you on the hand because guess what? You're critical of the president. Well, that's not a crime in America.
Well, on the Carter Page thing, Mark Penn, Hillary Clinton pollster, a fellow columnist with you at The Hill, he wrote yesterday, if the information in the FBI's Carter Page warrant constituted probable cause for wiretapping an American political campaign, then the process and the officials involved in it carried out one of the most significant known violations of American civil liberties in recent history. Is he wrong?
He's totally wrong. I mean, it's not only me saying that, Dan. I think that you hear Marco Rubio, you hear my colleagues here at Fox News, Brit Hume and others say, what we see in the FISA warrant is that people laid out the case. Page was visiting Russia. He had, by his own admission, contact and was acting as an advisor to the Kremlin. He was then in the Trump campaign and was clearly seeking information. And so it's like, well, of course, that's the FBI's job. They're supposed to protect America.
Yeah, except the FISA documents that were released document that they relied on the Steele dossier and were less than completely forthright about it to the judges. And then Yahoo and other news reports that they and now after the fact, after the release, other people are mischaracterizing as sort of corroborating material. It's none of that is true. Carter Page has denied the meetings that are suggested in the application with particular Russians. He denied that to Jake Tapper. He hasn't been charged with anything. So I'm sorry, where is the there with respect to Carter Page? He's also said he's never met or talked to Trump in his life. So where's the there?
I think the there is that by his own admission, he was acting as an advisor to the Kremlin, and that he was in the Trump campaign and seeking information from the Russians that would influence an American election.
Why hasn't he been charged?
That's the there.
Why hasn't he been charged?
I'm sorry?
Why hasn't he been charged with any crime?
I don't think he's been charged, has he?
No, why
he
has
hasn't,
he?
but
Why
hasn't?
hasn't
If he
he?
did allegedly do this,
Oh,
don't you
why
think he did-
hasn't he? I think the reason is that they're still trying to manipulate him and trying to use him in terms of what information he'll provide. And by the way, the fact that he's out there and that there was this FISA warrant, by the way, again, approved multiple times by 4 judges who were put in place by Republican presidents.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I think the reason that he's still out there is that they may agree with you, Dan. He's not a big player.
Right. And so the flimsiness of this application to surveil him in the first place is called into question, number one. Number two, Ron, would you at least stipulate that these judges, forget who they're appointed by, they are deferential to FBI and DOJ that come to them for these warrants? I mean, 1/1,000,000% of FISA applications have been denied by judges that have been appointed by Republicans and Democrats. So that doesn't kind of suggest that this is so sort of bipartisan support that this was legitimate. It suggests there's bipartisan deference to law enforcement.
Wow. Wait a minute. Is this Dan and Amy? I must have gotten her on the wrong show because I think conservatives have a great deal of deference for law enforcement
Not when
and
it's
want law
corrupted.
enforcement to work in our country. And there's a reason that judges are willing to listen to law enforcement. All this was a presentation of preliminary information. This wasn't intended to convict Mr. Page of anything. It was just simply saying, this is someone we have to keep an eye on.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I mean, the probable cause. I mean, am I talking to the Juan Williams? Because the Juan Williams would be concerned about legitimate threshold probable cause being proven
Correct.
for some sort of surveillance.
You got me on that one, and I'm saying to you, as Juan Williams, what I see in the warrant is they made an extensive case, much of it redacted, so we don't know all the information. But even with what we can see, they made the case. This guy had some contacts with Russians.
Mm-hmm.
But they referenced most of their case on that Steele dossier, which was paid for by the Clinton administration,
And that's
the
it.
DNC.
That's there, Amy. It says this was paid, political candidate number 1, who turns out to be President Trump. This information was collected by his political opponents. It says that quite explicitly.
Mm-hmm. And how much of it? How much of it has been verified so far?
I don't think any. I think some of it, obviously, but not the entire
But
document.
why didn't James Comey tell President Trump, then candidate Trump, when he visited him at the Trump Tower, and let him know about they might have a tape on him? Why didn't they say, oh, and by the way, this research, this Steele dossier was paid for by the Clinton Foundation or the DNC?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the details of that meeting.
Do you think this Russian collusion investigation is going to bear fruit? I mean, Adam Schiff continues to move from one unfounded conspiracy theory to the other. Most recently, after these Page documents were released over the weekend, he's talking about Trump campaign possibly being involved in money laundering with the Russians, but we weren't allowed to investigate that, so I hope that Mueller does. We're just going to keep throwing out different possible criminal conspiracies they could have been involved in when we don't have any evidence of the one that we're focused on.
Well, I disagree with you. I mean, it seems to me that there have been multiple indictments. We just last week, I guess, the news comes so fast these days, it's hard to keep track. But, I mean, even before Helsinki, you had a dozen Russians indicted. We know that the president's national security advisor, former national security advisor Michael Flynn, has pled guilty. We know Paul Manafort is in jail. There's a lot going on here. I don't think this is a flimsy case.
Does that have anything to do with Russian collusion? It doesn't seem to me it does. And Byron York makes the point in the Washington Examiner. It's worth noting how Mueller is farming out all of these cases that are pending because they're outside of his scope of work with respect to investigating Russian collusion. Isn't that Paul Manafort's his business dealings, right? Maria Butina farmed out. Michael Cohen farmed out. Russian indictments in absentia, big deal. That's virtue signaling indictments, at least as it pertains to the Trump campaign or the president himself. So what do we have in terms of evidence of Trump or his inner circle colluding with the Russians at this point?
I don't see that we have any. I mean, I think that this is an ongoing investigation.
All right, very good. That's okay. I just want to establish some facts here. I want to ask you this other question, too. I got to get your opinion on this. The New York Daily News announced it was laying off roughly half of its editorial staff yesterday And Andrew Cuomo seemed to
He wants tax dollars.
indicate. Are we just? He was going to provide some state help to the New York Daily News. I mean, are we just formalizing the relationship between the state-run media here, or what? What is this?
You know, this is an interesting one to me because I saw that in the stories. Now, half of the staff of the New York Daily News, and I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, so I'm a New York kid, and the Daily News was like the Bible around here. I mean, everybody read the Daily News. It was the big paper. People talk about the New York Times. That was the paper of the educated elite. It was the Daily News, and to some extent the New York Post that was the working man's newspaper and working woman's newspaper. But to see it decimated in this way, to see that they don't have ads, that the ads are all going online, it's just we're in a sea change. And I think a lot of people are particularly worried about local news coverage, that it's just not sexy to go cover the city council or the school board and even the mayor. The mayor's going to get you some headlines, but really what's the mayor doing behind closed doors? That takes a lot of reporting energy. It's not necessarily, going to generate hot headlines every day, but you know what? There are a lot of important stories about the mayor in Chicago, the mayor in Baltimore, the mayor in New York, and it'd be good if we had reporting. I think that's what Cuomo is speaking to, the loss of coverage of local news. But I agree with you. I get uncomfortable when I think, the state now can call up the editor and say, hey, we gave you several million to bail you out, and we want different kind of coverage, or we want this story covered and this story not covered. To me, that's corruption.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, let's end on agreement. We'll end on a high note as we try to. Juan Williams, Fox News contributor, columnist for The Hill, thehill.com. You can check out his work in both outlets. Juan, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Dan and Amy. Have a great day.
You too.
You too. Thanks, Juan. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today. Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
With the recent rainy weather, Permaseal is working hard to help homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, but they need your help. Permaseal is now hiring in all departments, especially sales, customer service, and installation. They're looking for people with a great work ethic who have ambition, positive attitude. Bob, want to learn new skills and have a desire to make the world a better, drier place. Does this sound like you? Then go to permaseal.net/careers to apply today. No experience is needed. Permaseal will teach you to become an expert in waterproofing and foundation repair. Their experienced team offers great training, year-round work, tremendous growth opportunities, and a great, fun work environment. To apply, go to permaseal.net/careers. If you're looking for a career change or a dry basement, you know who to call. Permaseal. Just call them at 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
When it comes to the success of your small business, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? It may not sound like a lot of money, but it's enough to turn 500 strangers into 500 connections. All it takes is the right business card. Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. You heard right. 500 business cards for $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. But don't let the price fool you. Vistaprint uses only carefully selected inks and paper stocks, so your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed every time for any reason. You'll find dozens of designs that are just right for your business at Vistaprint, and you can add your logo and contact information with just a few clicks. It's never been easier to turn strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint and start today, because this offer won't last forever. Get your 500 business cards for just $9.99 at Vistaprint.com. Use promo code 4949 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4949.
The rapid evolution of technology in industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions that give manufacturers a competitive advantage. For ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals, while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor. Industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Remember this promise from Barack Obama?
And if you already have health care, then we're going to reduce costs an average of $2,500 per family on premiums.
The truth is, premiums in the individual under 65 market have more than doubled since the ACA exchanges opened in 2014, especially for the millions of Americans who do not qualify for subsidies. If you're healthy and do not need coverage for pre-existing conditions, premiums are much lower in the non-ACA health insurance market. These policies will keep you consistently insured all year long, and they include a nationwide PPO. And there's no one better to help you navigate the Obamacare maze than C. Stephen Tucker. He's a 20-year licensed broker who I know and trust, who's been educating listeners for more than 6 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com. That's healthinsurancementors.com. Or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
I love my Catholic school. It's where I learned to make the right choices and lead by example. And I receive a well-rounded education because over 81% of students in our schools participate in at least one extracurricular activity.
You just heard my daughter talk about why she loves her Catholic school. And as a parent, I may not be able to control what is happening in our culture, but I can control how my children are educated. I do that by sending them to a Catholic school where they are formed in the image of Jesus Christ so that they have the moral foundation to make the right choices based on the teachings of the Catholic Church. If you want to provide your child with a moral compass to navigate our culture, consider sending him or her to a Catholic school.
Now you can join me at my school. Participating Catholic schools in the Joliet Diocese, in conjunction with the Catholic Education Foundation, are offering transfer grants of $1,500 to elementary school students and $3,000 to high school students who transfer from public, private, charter, or homeschool. Restrictions apply. For more information, go to weteachmore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, he wants to shut down Lakeshore Drive.
More importantly, shut down Wrigley Field permanently.
Oh.
Greg Livingston at 8:08.
Dan's going to join the march. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Check up with Mike Scott. Hi, Mike. How
Amy
you
and
doing?
Dan, former IPRA investigator, is suing the city of Chicago. We'll tell you why. Health officials confirm a case of the measles in Cook County. The D-backs beat the Cubs with a 5-run first, and the White Sox battled past the Angels. Sunshine today. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
It's a very, very petty thing to do.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's the reaction from ex-Director of National Intelligence James Clapper among the Trump critics targeted by the president to possibly have security clearances revoked. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
President Trump is looking into revoking the security clearances of several former high-level officials who've criticized him. Among them, former CIA Director John Brennan, retired General Michael Hayden, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders.
The president is exploring the mechanisms to remove security clearance because they've politicized and in some cases monetized their public service and security clearances.
Congressman Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, has called this effort, quote, a cowardly action of someone who is afraid of criticism. Dave?
Now, John, President Trump is getting ready to take off. He's going to head to Kansas City. He'll do a fundraiser there and do some politicking. The same day, there is a runoff election in Georgia for governor. One of the candidates is backed by President Trump. The other Republican in the runoff is backed by the current governor, Nathan Deal. A wildfire disaster in Greece has left at least 50 people dead.
I said, my God, we must run to save ourselves and nothing else. Terrible.
He ran into the ocean with the flames chasing him down to the shore, burning his back. Hundreds had to be rescued from the sea as two fires burned along the coast and torched homes and seaside resorts. There's a massive flood in Laos after a dam burst. Hundreds of people are missing, an unknown number killed. It's going to be another scorcher in the southwest. It's already 88 degrees at 6 a.m. in Phoenix. Could be a record-tying 117 today.
Excessive heat warnings are up for parts of Southern California, Nevada, and Arizona. Death Valley got up to 120 degrees yesterday, and it could go higher this week. The heat warnings are in effect through tomorrow for some parts, Thursday for others.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 69 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 5 are wounded following a mass shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say the group was standing on the sidewalk last night near 64th and May when someone in a passing Jeep opened fire. All of the victims were hospitalized, including a man in critical condition. There have been no arrests. Authorities say one swimmer was rescued, another missing amid choppy Lake Michigan waters off a northwest Indiana beach in Gary. Health officials in Cook County issue a warning for a possible measles exposure. The Department of Public Health saying a resident recently caught the virus overseas, and during the infectious period, that person visited Panera Bread on July 13 and the Jewel Osco on Euclid in Mount Prospect between noon and 4 on July 14. Illinois' latest stomach bug is spreading. The Department of Public Health said even more people have been confirmed sick with cyclospora. The latest count of sick folks in Illinois up to 266, all tied to a batch of tainted salads from McDonald's. Diamondbacks over the Cubs 7-1 in Wrigley Field. Jose Abreu 2 for 4 with a long home run. White Sox beat the Angels 5-3. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, thousands of Nike workers are about to receive a raise. The Wall Street Journal says the company reviewed its employees' pay and how it awards bonuses and decided to make changes. Nike says it wants to support a culture in which employees feel included and empowered. Several Nike executives left the company this year. Some were accused of improper behavior. Harley-Davidson's recent quarter was stronger than expected, though its motorcycle shipments were down from a year ago. Business improved outside the U.S. Harley's warning that new tariffs in Europe will have an impact on its business. Eli Lilly's quarter also stronger than forecast. Verizon reporting a stronger than expected quarter. Google's parent company Alphabet reported sharply higher earnings after the Wall Street close yesterday. The Dow was down 13 yesterday. NASDAQ added 21. S&P gained 5. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It is 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity, The Sean Hannity Show.
You effectively have just opened the borders, wide open borders. It doesn't solve the problem. And Congress doesn't want to do their job. Because if they really did, they could literally get it done in a day. If they really meant the things that they were saying, they would get it done for the sake of the children that they seem to care so much about.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
It is 8:06. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike Kennedy. Inbound delay started Foster. It is a 40-minute drive, O'Hare to downtown. It's 28 from Montrose and 24 in the express lanes. Outbound 28 minutes to Montrose, 48 to the airport. Eden's inbound delay started Foster. 23 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 29. The Eisenhower is an hour, 390 to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim, outbound 50 to 390. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound delays are from 21 to 176. And from the Adams Tollway to Irving Park Road, northbound, Crawford to 95th, to Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway gummed up 83 to the Tri-State. The northbound Veterans Memorial from Mountain to St. Charles. Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving for victims of drunk and drug driving. Their grief is unique. You're not alone. Call MAD's 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP. Visit mad.org, MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A seasonably warm day today with sunshine and patchy clouds. High getting up to 87. Clear night tonight with a low 67. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm, high again 87. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 72 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. More info online at sjnma.org.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
There ain't no road just like it. Anywhere I found, running south on Lakeshore Drive, getting into town.
Yeah, you're going to have trouble running south or maybe north on Lakeshore Drive on August 2nd because Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston and his Coalition for New Chicago are planning a Lakeshore Drive shutdown and a march to Wrigley Field to protest the lack of economic vitality on the south and west sides of the city, the violent crime in those neighborhoods as well, sort of Dan Ryan shutdown redux. This is getting serious now because
it is affecting Cub fans.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting to parts of the city now that people in office actually care about, so they actually may have to pay attention to this, other than just scramble some public resources to protect Flager and the gang on the Dan Ryan. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston, Coalition for New Chicago. Greg, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. You are the mastermind, man. It's always good to talk to you.
I don't know about
did
that.
you plan this?
No.
Oh.
Did I plan him calling me the mastermind?
Yeah.
It's just a fact on the streets.
Oh, okay.
So Greg,
Greg,
What do you think this is going to accomplish exactly?
Well, it's going to take a lot, and this is just one thing in a series of things that we have to commit ourselves to doing. I've learned from my failures. I've learned more from failing than I have from not trying. And so, oftentimes in neglected and challenged neighborhoods, and you made the comment before you brought me on, that the cries of the neglected and the disadvantaged, the complaints are often ignored until there's some kind of lip service given to them during election time. But in better off areas, that the cries and complaints are heard. So we want to bring, the neglected and the disadvantaged to where they can be heard.
So are you going to have the blessing, or not maybe the blessing, but the protection that Father Flager received on the Dan Ryan when they shut that down?
Well, I've been doing this for a minute. No, I've been doing this for a minute. We did, Black Friday and hashtag Black Christmas 3 years ago.
Oh, I remember.
And so we're calling for some real action against Rahm and Eddie Johnson. I really doubt if Rahm's going to give us his approval on this. That looks, and anyway, we're not asking permission because in the tradition of King and Gandhi, it wouldn't be civil disobedience if we would ask for permission. So, yeah.
What about the Cubs? Are you asking for their permission, or are you planning on stopping the game? Because I could get behind that.
You have to wait and see on that end.
All right.
We'll see what happens with that. Yeah.
Well, what's the game plan? Where are you going to start? Where are you going to stop? Are you? Is it the end game, Clark and Addison?
Yeah, we're going to be on northbound Lakeshore Drive at the Belmont exit, and we're going to stop traffic on Lakeshore Drive. Then we're going to march from there to Wrigley Field.
See, now that I've lived there for 22 years in that neighborhood. I understand what you're doing, but I just think that is the wrong way to go about this, because people, they might run you over, and I know that sounds awful, but I'm just telling you the truth.
But Amy, people get run over on the south and west sides all the time. We're used to it. It's not a big deal. And
Are you going to wear bike helmets or something? Or
bike
yeah,
helmet?
Yeah, sure.
When the last time you've been in Lawndale see somebody riding a bike with a bike helmet?
Not since Obama visited.
And my boys don't wear bike helmets either, so it's not just.
So
we old school,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, so but what is the call? Because I've seen some of your other press releases on topic, and you call for Rahm Emanuel to resign. Well, obviously that's not going to happen. You gotta win elections. You gotta change out the political power structure in the city. And how does this further that real effort?
Myself and my co-organizer T.O. Hardiman with Violence Interrupters, we've been neck deep in working with this violence. I'm a pastor of a church. I've done all kind of funerals with short caskets, long caskets, gang funerals with the killer sitting in the congregation. And the sad thing is that way of life becomes normative. And so we have to expose people to something different. We want to bring Southsiders and Westsiders, up to the north side to Wrigleyville to show them what well-funded communities look like, to show them what public safety looks like when it functions optimally. So when they go back, they can have a different level of dissatisfaction and say, we need this in our communities. And for the Wrigleyvillians, or however you say that, Granddaddy had a dog, Dan and Amy, and the dog was lying on the porch, and the dog was just whining and crying. And his buddy says, why is that dog crying like that? And Granddaddy says, because he's lying on a nail. He says, why doesn't he move? He said, because it doesn't hurt bad enough yet. We believe that many of our fellow brothers and sisters and citizens don't know what some of us are going through. So we have to make them aware, because I believe in the intrinsic goodness of human beings. I look at a human being before I look at their label. And I think that once they know, and then we can show them how, we want some funding for black-led anti-violence programs. There's so much chicanery and skullduggery out here in the nonprofit world, the political world. I'm tired of political correctness, because our politics is not correct. We've had over 50 people get shot since the weekend. We get this all the time, and Chicago's a laughingstock.
But trying to shut down a Cubs game, or vaccine motorists who are trying to get to the game, or even home from work, do you really think that that's going to work and get your message across?
Yeah, I think so. Amy, the legacy of people like Martin King and Gandhi, even Jesus Christ, is that none of them were palatable during their lifetimes. We praise and worship them now because we tend to sanitize what they did. But it takes getting people uncomfortable to make a difference. It takes your doctor saying, look, if you don't change the way you're eating, you're not going to last very long. And as a collective, as a citizen body, one part of the body cannot suffer and the other part of the body not deal with something at some point in time. We have to get the whole body whole.
Well, okay. When you talk about funding for black-led anti-violence programs in the neighborhoods, I mean, give me a sense of what that looks like, because this, sort of the never-ending calls for more and more money, taxpayer money usually. I'm not suggesting you're saying that, but it's usually taxpayer money. That's what the calls are. I mean, the West and South Side neighborhoods are wholly owned subsidiaries of the government. Give me what the number is that would reduce the violence. Give me where the money should be directed that would reduce the violence. It seems like nobody can ever answer that question.
You know what, Dan? I know that when Ron closed those 50 schools, at one point it was costing $1 million a day to maintain those closed schools. And so, one of our ideas is this, is that you bring in these huge concerns like Google and you want Amazon here. That's great. That's good. We're all for that. But these companies are coming in with tax incentives and subsidies and abatements and all that kind of stuff. And so they're being subsidized by the taxpayers in order to get them here. And so we're saying these cash-rich companies, let's take some of these closed schools and these buildings and these ramshackle places, let these cash-rich companies invest in these buildings in the community, turn them into digital training centers. And that way you employ the community, the kids of the 21st century already, technology is normative to them. And let's do something creative and let's have vision. And when I talk about black-led, there's a game in the community, Dan. I just got to be straight up with you, man. There's a game in the community, and I can tell you this for a fact. The fifth floor oftentimes only deals with people that will say yes all the time. And many of the folk that are in charge or have been in charge of black organizations that don't have any money are not going to sell their integrity in order to get a buck, right? So we need to move outside of the taxpayer base and go to some of these corporate giants and bring this money in. A number would be to have some money that doesn't have strings attached to the fifth floor that says, I'm going to puppeteer you like I puppeteered the illegitimately hired Eddie Johnson.
What about the schools, since you brought them up? I mean, you have this sex abuse scandal that has been unearthed by the Tribune at CPS. And where is the reaction to that? I mean, the CPS is 90% minority. It's overwhelmingly African American. Most of the schools do not educate children, do not put them on a path to success, and they haven't for generations. Where is the outrage over that? I mean, have Google and Amazon and LinkedIn and whatever, have them take over the schools. Don't just fund digital centers. Start from pre-K. In the city of Chicago, because CPS isn't getting it done. And now we find out CPS was aiding and abetting predators, and there's nary a march or a vigil or a shutdown orchestrated to protest that.
It's hard a lot of times, Dan, to get people together to come up against something when they feel they already have lost, right? They don't even want to play the game. How can we beat this team? We
like the
might as well
Party.
not play.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work to inspire them, to inspire the uninspired. I mean, it takes a lot of work. And it's difficult and it's hard. And then we come up against formidable forces. I mean, the Emanuel brothers have put together this incredible Machiavellian empire, man. I mean, it's off the chain, but it's hard. And so all I can say is that we just keep trying and keep fighting. Black women have experienced, sexual abuse in this country, America, since we've been here. And their coping mechanism, because they didn't have a choice, they couldn't go to a counselor or take a day off, in slavery or something like that. They learned to compartmentalize it, right? I'm not saying that's the healthy thing to do. And so often, though, I believe that legacy is carried over even into this millennia, where many of these young black girls and black boys who have been sexually abused in the CPS system, the parents, are worried about losing what little they have. This is not to make an excuse, but it's just to say this is the reality that exists. I've had parents come to me and say, please don't say anything. Please don't, because of fear.
It's a sad reality.
Yeah, it is. But real quick, you mentioned Eddie Johnson. That superintendent, he walked hand in hand with you guys during the Dan Ryan demonstration.
No, I didn't. I wasn't on the Dan Ryan.
No, he. Okay, well, he was. What beef do you have with Eddie Johnson?
Eddie Johnson promised transparency, and he's playing games with the COPA decisions. Eddie Johnson said that in his entire career he never saw discrimination in the Chicago Police Department, but he still sent officers to racial sensitivity training. Eddie Johnson and I attended the same high school and grammar school. This isn't easy for me, but we both got our big boy pants on. Enough. Rahm hired him. He didn't go through the process. Rahm suspended the law for a day. Another great example of Chicago corruption. He suspended, the law for a day to bring his guy in. And so now, we get, like the Rialmo decision, and the community just says, you need a backbone, Eddie. But if you don't have a backbone, let us do the process over again and bring somebody in here who does.
All right. He is Reverend Gregory Seal, Livingston Coalition for a New Chicago. They're marching on Lakeshore Drive to Wrigley Field Thursday, August 2nd. So mark your calendars. Greg, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mastermind. Bye, Amy.
Right.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Sounds like he's jealous to me. And why is he calling you the mastermind? Mastermind. Like,
If the name fits.
Ponder that for a while I deliver your forecast. Plenty of sunshine. High today of 87 degrees.
By the way, I like this. Sorry to interrupt, but I like this tweet.
I'm not finished.
Any plans for their next stop of disobedience to be in the North Shore? The rich white Champagne socialists need to be down with the struggle. I like that. Yeah, take it up there. Take it to Wilmette, Glencoe. Shut down Green Bay Road.
Yeah.
Interrupt a soccer game in Winnetka.
High today of 87, cooler near the lake. Same for tomorrow and tonight. We're going to have clear conditions and a low of 67. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Centaur. Any stoppages on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
There's not much to stop on the inbound Edens coming from the North Shore right now. It's clear sailing, 19 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. But outbound, it's bottled up from Montrose to Church Street. It's 39 minutes to get from Montrose to Lake Hook. Kennedy inbound delay start at Montrose, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 28 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 48 to the airport. Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to the Circle, 36 from Manheim. Outbound 46 minutes to 390. Stevenson is 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State heavy 21 to 176 from the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound a jam from Crawford to 95th after a crash. And from the Stevenson to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway heavy from the Aurora Toll to Eola where there's a crash in the left lane. And it's slow 83 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial. Slow northbound. Mountain Toll to St. Charles. The Army Trail Toll to 290. Southbound 53 at Stop and Go Rand to Kirchhoff. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
It's back. The MyPillow buy one, get one free offer. Back for the month of July. And if you haven't bought your MyPillow, here's another chance to save big. Even our 45th president mentioned he sleeps on a MyPillow. True. Mike Lindell, the creator of MyPillow, was at his rally in Fargo, North Dakota last month, and the president recognized him and endorsed MyPillow right there on national TV. I love that I can move the field to get the support I need, and I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. MyPillow, made in America. Washable, dryable, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online and get the buy one, get one free offer. But if you type Amy in the promo code, you also get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress topper that I've been telling you about, as well as pet beds. I love the pet beds, and I absolutely love their sheets and pillowcases. Try them out. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle, and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido to make an appointment with cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Finding affordable education for your young ones that teaches values and delivers a great education is a challenge these days, especially for the pre-K through 8th grade formative years. Private grade school can be expensive, but you want your child to have a strong foundation and good start with his or her education. St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard could be what you've been searching for, and more affordable than you imagined. They feature a rigorous, faith-based curriculum combined with an outstanding variety of extracurricular activities that prepare children for personal and spiritual growth and academic success. They have sports for 5th to 8th grades, clubs like German and Spanish, band, drama, National Junior Honor Society, and Student Council. St. John's Lutheran School in Lombard prepares your child for accelerated programs in the best private high schools. Find out more about the long tradition of excellence in Christian education St. John's Lutheran School has at stjohnslombard.com. Request a tour, and for a limited time, get half off registration when you enroll your child. Go to stjohnslombard.com today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy were talking about shutting down Lakeshore Drive and marching on to Wrigley Field August 2nd. That's what Coalition for New Chicago is doing. Suggestion that maybe they take it north to really hit the Champaign Socialists where they live.
You suggested a youth soccer game, which is a great idea.
Yeah, how about,
I mean, those games are packed.
Interrupt a cricket game at New Trier High School.
Well, lacrosse is big right now.
What else? Croquet. What do they play? Badminton.
Okay.
Lawn bowling. Let's see. We got some other. I did text from 847 March on Ravinia. Oh, yeah. That's it. That would be good.
Steely Dan concert or something.
Oh my God. Holy cow. They'd be fainting on their little
on
picnic
their
spreads.
baskets.
Yeah. I like that.
I got a fork in my neck. Oh.
Amy and Huntley, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. I just want to make a comment. My daughter works 2 jobs. She does cancer testing. And she has a girlfriend coming in from out of town. And all this girl wanted to do was go to a Cubs game. That's all she wanted to do. So my daughter saves her money, buys Cubs tickets.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure about the date that this protest was going to happen. But I'm thinking, that's all she wants to do. She works 2 jobs. She takes a day off. Her friend wants to go to see the Cubs.
Well,
and then,
Amy,
if you come in from the northwest, you can. I mean, there's a safe way to get there where you could avoid the protester. But if you want to go in at Clark and Addison, where the marquee is, you might have some problems.
Let me suggest something, Amy. That there's a penalty for bad taste, and what you want to do is take your daughter, your friend to Comiskey.
Oh, yeah.
Easy in and out access.
Very easy in and out. Trust me.
Good seats still available August 2nd.
Great seats.
Yeah. You have a little pitch half an inning. Thanks for the call, Amy. Sorry about your inconvenience. Philip on the northwest side.
Who wants to be third base coach?
Good morning, you guys.
Hi.
I would like to see our mayoral candidates and any other politicians and all these people that complain about things while they're marching, you know, all our community organizers and Flager, the scumbag that he is. I'd like to see them talk about heroin and cocaine and crack and meth. I'd like to see that get off the streets of Chicago, because that is the speakeasy of Chicago. We're sell $50 million a day minimum, 365 days a year. And then I'd like to see some real serious vocational schools come back, real serious ones, where they actually make things, create things.
Yeah.
They don't do a service economy. And I'd like to see Common Core get out of our school systems so we get normal, regular people learning things with hands on.
And we got to get rid of the rats, too. We're the rat capital of the country. Thanks
the rats are incredible.
Thanks for the call, Philip. Joe on the south side.
Yeah, I think that what's needed is real conversion. Conversion of the heart, the soul, and mind of the black people. Now, I live amongst them on the south side. I have some wonderful, wonderful black friends. But they are their own worst enemies.
Oh.
A black man starts to get ahead and his fellow black man, doesn't like it or whatever and robs them blind or whatever.
That's called life.
All right, thanks for the call, Joe. I don't
Doesn't
know.
matter your skin color.
The
Sometimes
white power
not
structure in the city of Chicago and state of Illinois hasn't done them any favors either, I would suggest.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Building the university that we need, literally. We'll talk to St. Louis U professor Warren Treadgold at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
We're following breaking developments this morning out of Israel, where the Israeli army has shot down a Syrian fighter jet after penetrating Israeli airspace. Patriot missiles were fired at the aircraft this morning. The Israeli army saying the plane had taken off from an airbase that had been the target of Israeli airstrikes in the past. No indication whether the plane crashed or if the pilots are currently alive. The White House says President Trump is looking to revoke security clearances for a half dozen former national security officials, including former CIA Director John Brennan, who was harshly critical of the president after his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. At least 60 are dead as Greek wildfires tear through a resort area around Athens. NBC's Keir Simmons tells the Today Show just moments ago the Greek Coast Guard had to use boats to rescue about 700 trapped on a beach.
We went into the sea, this man says, because the flames were chasing us all the way to the water. It burned our backs, and we dived into the water. I said, my God, we must run to save ourselves.
It's the worst fire disaster in Greece in more than a decade. American investigators now believe Russian hackers breached U.S. utility company networks. The Wall Street Journal says that Russian state-sponsored hackers apparently got access to control rooms of large electric utilities and may have triggered blackouts. 5 are wounded following a shooting on Chicago's South Side near 64th and May. Authorities say one swimmer was rescued, another missing amid choppy Lake Michigan waters off Marquette Beach in northwest Indiana. Longtime Chicago Alderman Ricardo Munoz is retiring from the city council. He's represented the 22nd Ward for 25 years. Chicago sports, Diamondbacks over the Cubs, 7-1 at Wrigley. White Sox over the Angels, 5-3. The news is a service of Unbound.org. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision, continue their dream of education, or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a news story. See Potential Not Poverty at Unbound.org. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a rocky future for the Dems.
The way the Democrats are behaving right now, they're going to drive people right into the arms of the Republican Party, and the Democrats are not going to take the House. I mean, really, come on. Can we be real? Do today's Democrats want to be socialists across the board? Well, if they do, okay. There's a lot more of us than there are of them.
Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period. The following is a paid political announcement.
When the Senate was debating cutting taxes, Senator Joe Donnelly told us this.
If they bring a good tax bill before me that helps middle-class families, count me in every time.
But how did Senator Donnelly actually vote? Listen to President Trump.
Joe Donnelly voted no on tax cuts.
The Trump tax cuts are working for Indiana. Middle-class families will receive a tax cut of more than $2,000. Thanks to tax cuts, Hoosier businesses are hiring, raising wages, and paying employee bonuses. But Senator Donnelly voted no. It's time for Joe Donnelly to change course on tax cuts. Call Senator Joe Donnelly, 202-224-4814. Tell him the Trump tax cuts are working and to vote yes on S2687 to make our tax reforms permanent. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
It is 8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Eden's fine inbound. It's 19 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 39. Kennedy inbound 42 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 35 from Montrose. Same now on the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose and 41 to the airport. On Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown. 38 from Manheim. Outbound, it's 46 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound, heavy Irving Park to North Avenue and northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State slow Eau Plaine to Bradley and from the Adams Tollway to Irving Park. Northbound Crawford to 95th. Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Reagan Tollway to JF from the Aurora Toll to Eola for the crash to the left lane. It's also slow 83 to Tri-State. Northbound Veterans Memorial, Mountain Toll to St. Charles and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Seasonably warm with sunshine today, patchy clouds in the afternoon, high 87. Currently 72, next news at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Amy, as a noted theologian, you, of course, know of St. Anselm's ontological proof of the existence of God. You know of St. Thomas Aquinas' cosmological proof of the existence of God. But do you know about 11-year-old William Malice's astrophysical proof of the existence of God?
No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah. William Malice is an 11-year-old who just graduated from St. Petersburg College with an associate's degree in Florida this past Saturday. He's been called a genius. I know he's an 11-year-old astrophysicist who just got his associate degree, so that's
Bragger.
something. And he plans to continue his academic career at the University of South Florida, the Bulls. He one of his goals is as such.
I want to be an astrophysicist so that I can prove to the scientific world that God does exist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. He wants to prove that God exists to the scientific world. He's and
then
gives
he'll
you...
take that report back to the president of the Philippines?
Yes, exactly. And then Duterte will
Duterte
resign.
resigns, right.
Yeah. And
that's part of his thesis, right?
And then Eddie Redmayne will play him in the movie about his life, like he did Stephen Hawking after he disproves Hawking's suggestion that there is no God. Here's his proof, by the way. You ready for this? See if you can follow along.
Okay.
This is an 11-year-old. Astrophysical proof of the existence of God.
Let's start with the theory of relativity. You know Einstein, right?
Yes, I haven't met him, but I know of him, yes.
Well, in his theory, he said that the displacement of space-time is the cause of gravity. If this is the case, then the absence of gravity or the absence of space-time must be pure gravity. Because of the law of flow, things will go to the point of least resistance.
You know the law.
And if there's nothing there to resist, that's the point of least resistance.
Okay.
So, an absence of space-time would be pure gravity. Black holes are an absence of space-time. Nothing, not even light, can escape their pull. Also,
Or MH370.
if the universe is all of space-time and the entire Higgs field and all of space-time and matter, everything, then whatever's outside of the universe must be an absence of space-time. If that is the case, then the universe is not expanding into the absolute void around it. It's falling. Now, let's think back to the beginning of time. We know the universe has an age, right? 13.8 billion years. So, 13.8 billion years ago, the entire universe was reduced to a singularity, a particle smaller than a quark. However, if gravity is always working, i.e. if you jumped off this building, you're not going to fall 15 seconds later, you're going to fall immediately. So if gravity is always working, then and if the singularity was always there, like some atheists try to say, then the universe should have no age. It should be infinitely old. But it's not. It has an age. It's 13.8 billion years old. And something can't come from nothing because it would have to exist in order to cause itself to exist, which is illogical. So therefore, something other must have created the singularity. And that something other we observe as God.
QED.
That kid's exhausting.
You
grab a bat and ball and go outside.
Well,
Live a little.
You remember when you had that conversation with your kids when they were 11?
Yeah, right.
About the existence of God and from an astrophysical perspective. Yeah, that's William Malice. How about that?
Sure he's not your love child.
I should.
All right, surprise.
I should.
We'd have an envelope for you to open up. The DNA test results are in.
I should 23andMe him because, I'd be proud.
Oh, yeah, he could be a distant
proud
cousin.
Papa. Yeah. He also could head up the astrophysicist, be the astrophysicist chair, science department at the college that our next guest wants to start. He's Warren Treadgold. He's a professor of Byzantine Studies at St. Louis University, the Billikens, and author of the new book, The University We Need. Professor Treadgold, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
So I read a review of your book by John Leo in the Wall Street Journal, and if it's good enough for John Leo, it's good enough for me. But the case that you make is not dissimilar, reading from the review, that others have made, including Brian Kaplan, about the state of higher education in America. But your remedy is a little bit different than others have suggested who are pushing just walking away from higher ed. You suggest that it's those who have an appreciation for Western civilization and a classical small L liberal education should start building their own castles.
Yes, I don't think it's surprising that I have written a book that says some of the same things that a lot of other people have said, because the situation on campuses of the complete domination of leftist opinion is obvious to lots of people. But the idea of founding a new university, and not just a new college, I would say, a new elite university, a new research university, is one that I haven't seen put forward as a solution, and I think it's probably the only way out unless you wait a very long time for the universities to evolve in a different direction.
Are there any examples that you would point to? I mean, I'm thinking about your prescription. I was thinking about, say, Tom Monahan endowing Ave Maria.
Well, the trouble with there have been several universities that have been Ave Maria is a university. There have been also various small colleges. The trouble is that none of these places can really compete with the big guns of American elite education, like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Berkeley, and so on. They aren't trying to compete, really. They're trying simply to provide a good education to a few students. But I think we need something more high profile than that, some place that really can compete with the biggest universities in the country, the most elite universities in the country that have the kind of prestige and visibility that these small places just can't have.
Oh, like such as the Ivy League schools?
Yes.
So how could you do that? What are some ideas?
Well, I mean, you need money, but on the other hand, I find it very surprising that it's been more than 100 years since there's been a major research university, a major private research university founded in America. The University of Chicago and Stanford are really the last ones, and they're from the late 19th century. And during that time, American education has expanded enormously, and there are a lot of very rich people out there who could easily pay for a new university if they pooled their resources, but they choose to give their money to places like Harvard, Princeton, and Yale.
Well, and part of that is because they're alums of the they endow departments, buildings, professorships at the universities they attended, right?
Well, that's true, but very often the universities they attended aren't very much like the universities as they are now, and often have very different ideological profiles.
Well, that's there's no question. So with respect to the cost, that the prospects of that is part of it, part of the kind of barrier to entry. Just identifying the talent that would provide the instruction and the research at this university, and maybe that's starting to get solved with innovations like Heterodox Academy.
Well, I'll tell you, there were about 1.5 million professors in America, and there are some very good ones still, but they aren't usually to be found in very large clusters at any particular university, and they don't have a very high profile. Heterodox Academy, which you just mentioned, is an encouraging sign, but in fact, the people who are in it who aren't leftists are probably a minority. It's largely an organization of people who are worried, even though they are leftists, that leftist opinion has got such a terrible grip on American universities that they have nobody really to talk to except more extreme leftists, and that bothers them.
Yeah, right. No, I mean right. Jonathan Haidt and Brett Weinstein and the like. But so what about that then? I mean, if I was a multi-cajillionaire, which I'm not, but if I was and said, you know what, I think Professor Treadgold makes a good point. I'd like to put some money in and scrape together, I don't know, the $1 billion I think you put the price tag on that it would take to start something on this order of magnitude. Where do I go to get the people that are going to pass the legitimacy test so that you attract the top students?
Well, you advertise, and you probably begin by advertising in all fields and all ranks for people who are interested in that kind of a university, and I think you'd find a huge number of people would apply. Not all of them, of course, would be the sorts of people that were top-notch and whom you'd want, but I think that you'd find I think you wouldn't have much trouble finding several hundred. Remember that this university doesn't have to be enormous. I suggest a faculty of about 1,000 in all fields, and you wouldn't, of course, hire them all at once right away. I think you'd get them. It's a lot of those people now, it's hard to say exactly where they are and who they are in some cases because they have to keep very low profiles because it's not a good thing to be identified as a conservative or a moderate in American universities today.
What about looking at examples that run counter to the prevailing trend we're discussing in higher education and trying to scale or replicate those, like, for example, Hillsdale College or the University of Dallas?
Well, these are places that, by and large, do not try to be the best university in the country. And there are two things here. One is that if they're small enough, they really can't be. They can't provide the kind of research, the kind of research facilities that would attract scholars who want to be at a major research university, and those are the people who really have prestige in American academics today. Mm-hmm. And part of the trouble is that a lot of them are more concerned with ideological purity and frankly, athletics than they are with academic excellence.
All right. He is Warren Treadgold, professor of Byzantine Studies at St. Louis University. The book, The University We Need. Professor Treadgold, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
And thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-607-3551. That's 800-607-3551. 800-607-3551. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. What a contrast, right? At the same time, President Trump was stumbling through his post-game presser with Putin, which necessitated a next-day contraction-retraction. Former President Obama was in South Africa treating the world to his soaring rhetoric, thereby reminding us how good we had it. That's the D.C. press corps' version of events. Unfortunately for Democrats, Obama's tawdry sentimentality and life's little instruction book maxims hold up about as well over time as do his policies. Obama got away with congenial disdain for the Bible and gun clingers, but his political progeny, not to mention his administration's apparatchiks, are not nearly as adroit. Obama's veiled invective is weak tea compared to his former CIA director's call for a firing squad. Obama's cliche-ridden claptrap lacks the appeal of Adam Schiff's Manchurian Candidate conspiracy theories or a Business Insider deep dive on bugging soccer balls. Obama served as a veneer for the left's ugliness. Trump has unleashed it and marginalized Obama as a political asset in the process. Now Trump leads the left's parade of horribles around by their pea hats in full public view. It's messy, and Trump is sloppy, but like the 1983 Chicago White Sox, Trump is winning ugly.
How do you manage risk? True North Companies has a team of trusted advisors concentrated in employee benefits, workers' comp, and property casualty insurance that focus on offering innovative solutions to meet the needs of companies throughout the Midwest. True North's unique process, the Enterprise Navigator, goes beyond simply placing your insurance. The team works with companies like yours to evaluate compliance, manage risk, and help you seek financial savings by addressing education, finance transfer, technology, wellness, and claims management. Some companies calculate risk better than others. Do what you can to ensure all factors of the equation are accounted for by working with True North. To learn more or to request a no-obligation risk management assessment, visit TrueNorthCompanies.com or call 847-699-1400. True North Companies. Unique services, innovative solutions. True North Companies proudly sponsors AM 560's charity golf outing, benefiting the 100 Club of Chicago, providing financial relief and college scholarships to families of first responders who lost their lives in the line of duty.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards. The interest on the cards was really high. I was making the minimum payments, but barely. And it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
They did help me learn how to manage my money. Now, we have a house, and we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Holly, and I am debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Seems like summer just got started, but it's not too soon to start thinking about the fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment for grades 7 through 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, providing young men and now women with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Since 1884, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin has been developing the minds and shaping the character of young men from around the country and around the world, many of whom have gone on to achieve great success. And now, that same opportunity is available for young women. They prepare cadets for success in life by instilling a solid work ethic, an understanding of the value of integrity and teamwork, and the ability to think critically, communicate well, and function in a diverse and ever-changing world. To learn more about fall enrollment or to schedule a visit, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
AM 560, The Answer.
I love this story because you know how people listen to other people's conversations on a plane sometimes. Well, this girl, Kimberly, she's a teacher at CPS, so roll your eyes. She teaches at Chicago's Carlos Fuentes Elementary School. She has 32 first graders in her class. Can you imagine the chaos? And somebody next to her on a Southwest Airlines flight asked her, hey, you know, what's it like working where you are? What's your greatest challenge as a teacher? And she said working at a low-income school, that it's heartbreaking because many of the children are from immigrant families and they're living in poverty. So she told this, you know, story. And the guy sitting next to her, you know, who asked her the question, like, you know what? I'm going to see if my work can contact you and donate some items. Then a man sitting behind her tapped her on the shoulder, handed her a wad of cash. He had, maybe he just got back from Vegas or something, but $500 in cash. Then she started crying. Then the person across the aisle who was eavesdropping handed her $20. Then the man sitting in front of her turned around and said, this is all I have, and gave her a measly $10. And then they beat him to a pulp. No, so she got all this money, walked off the plane with $530. She says she's going to use the money to purchase books, some in English and some in Spanish, to help her students.
Right, because CPS can't afford books. Yeah, CPS at $20,000 a kid can't afford books. That's the real deal there.
Pens and paper and crayons. She said she just wanted to give them a big hug. But then since this started, she has a GoFundMe page now. And that's,
great. Good.
Oh, no, all the money is going to go
to her pension.
To supplies. No, to school supplies.
Oh, school supplies. Of course, yeah, school supplies. No, everybody knows that it's about the kids in CPS.
Well,
there is no
teacher,
question.
It's about the kids.
Yeah, that's nice.
She has 32 kids, so good for her. Name is Kimberly Bermudez.
All she had to do to get her name on the air was into her name being assassinated.
How do you, Kimberly Bermudez?
Bermudez, yeah.
So she's at Carlos Fuentes Elementary School. Good for her. So sometimes when people eavesdrop on your phone or your conversations on a plane, it could be a good thing. I'm going to complain about my property taxes being too high.
I thought this is where this is going.
Well, no, that's what I got to get it ready.
All right.
The next time.
Just to go to the church Willie Wilson's going to be at this weekend.
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning. What a great show. Thanks to technical producer Justin Kosick, associate